Hello, hope you're going well. I think this is working. Sorry for the extended absence. Things have been really stressful, but everything is good now, so it's good to start doing things again. So yeah, here's this test little scene just for the thumbnail. So it's been kind of hectic few months, which I won't explain all the details in that, but I will say I'm kind of, let's see, in the same holding pattern that I've been in for the last forever, where I'm just kind of trying to make headway on a large model, then get frustrated and just go make a small model. Then that small model becomes really big, and it just ends up being the main model, and then cycle continues, which is not optimal. I'm just trying to break away from that right now. So yeah, and I'll probably be streaming a lot more often, just to break into it and be more familiar with it and not be so uppity about it. Trial by fire, you learn by doing. That's how I do things. And I won't get too far into that, but yeah. And so here's what's been going on the creative side of things. As you probably already noticed, I've just been making just random things. Just models and things, which really don't have any specific universe for them. They're just kind of whatever. Because I'm kind of sputtering around just doing stuff. But it'll get better. Because, okay. When I've made an ultimatum that when October rolls around, I'll finally be able to do this in a professional way. Because for the last forever, I've been making models just as a hobby. And this is just what I find fun. I just like doing stuff like this. But I just don't have the discipline to push through the really big stuff. But now that the planets have aligned and I actually have a place to do things, I'll really going to hit it hard October. So that's my ultimatum. That's when things get serious. And the first one on the list for that will be this model right here. Mainly because it actually has a use for someone else, like other people. Because all the other models I make are just personal universe stuff that really have an aesthetic that isn't usable by anyone else. So this one has to be the first project, first true discipline project. So this will be the precursor to what I should be doing now, but only just recently had the space to do it physically. So yeah, it'll be good, it'll be fun. I no longer fear it. It's time to move forward. Turn this into a profession. And yeah. So that'll be the first one. I was thinking about which one it should be. Like which one I should actually hit hard first. I thought I would do the Beast, but that one's too specialized. It's too esoteric. Because this one's for the game. I just don't know what components on it are actually relevant. So, I mean, I could just really speed model this thing in less than a month, but it's just I have to know for sure what has to happen with it. So, this one's still on the back burner. We'll slay this beast sometime. But yeah, that's what's going on. And another pattern I've noticed, besides sputtering and making small models and then leading to large models, is all of these models were made because there was some sort of event happening that I wanted to make that event. Like this is March of Robots. All these robots that I made. Like these ones, and that one, and all of these. And that was just for that event in March. And then another event was for the base camp. They were having a creature making competition. So I went balls to the wall for that one. So that one was this one. Which, this is quite a pattern that I really need to break. Because these end up as, what do you call them, marathons. like procrastination. That like this one should have taken 20 days, but it ended up taking like 5 days, 6 days, with half of it being in 2 days. So that's not optimal. But for that amount of time, it's not a bad result, I don't think. Which, this one's part of the same universe as everything else, so I'll probably see more of this stuff soon enough. As soon as I actually regulate how to actually model this in a feasible way. Which, honestly, I think I'm already there. I just have to be more disciplined, more structured about it. Because these things come naturally, like this was not foreplanned or anything, so it'll get there. I just have to do more of it. That's the problem. I have the speed, I have the direction, I just need the discipline behind it. And that's one. The other one was another event for May 4th, which is May the 4th be with you. That's Star Wars flavored. But then I only learned of it like 3 days before. So I was like, okay, I need something in 2 days. So that ended up being this one. So we made this one in 2 days, which it's kind of unpolished. It's not amazing, but for the amount of time that it took, I'm proud of it, so that's good. Went kind of ham with the details. Which, this one, the way it works, how I made it was I just made the basic outline of it first. And then I actually went in with the details as in modularized different components and stuff like that. So a lot of these faces are really big. And it's also very arbitrary, like some things aren't components or anything. And that's a result of having to speed model it, so it's good to have references, but then this is kind of a amalgamation of a bunch of different types of things. Like this is from Starkiller Base, and this is from a Star Destroyer, and this one's from a specialized destroyer that has kind of a landing bay right here. Different references and stuff like that. And these are multiple planes right here to fake some translucency. Which I wish there was a way to make emissive materials, but that... Not in SketchUp, but that's close enough, I suppose. So there's that. Which I don't think... Yeah, I won't really polish this one. May the 4th be with you. Made the deadline. That's all that matters. And that's that. So what happened was I was trying to make leeway on the Spinosaur. Let's see if we can find him. Right here. I was trying to make some leeway. And what happened is just getting too complex because his geometry is very, should I say, non-optimized. You can see some redundant vertices in there, which that wouldn't be difficult to fix. The problem was actually getting the angles proper. Like right here. Like he doesn't actually have joints that work because he was designed just randomly. Like there was no concept art, nothing. So that's not something I should be able to just do anymore. I'll be using concepts and references from now on, so I won't be making these types of models. No, I mean like the same fidelity, just not random. So what happened was I was going with that, and then I got frustrated, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna make a little model just for fun. That's how this one was born. It was just a little model for fun, and that ended up being, let's see, this mech right here. So this was just another little frustration model, and then it ended up getting big by itself as well. So now it's getting to the category of almost having to be a new mech that has to be polished for actual mechanics. So that's a pattern. I've noticed that pattern. So we're gonna break that pattern very soon. Which I'll put this one on the list of things that must be done. He's too good not to. And yeah, so I've noticed the pattern. Once you have a once you know something's going on, you'll have power over it. So that'll be good once we can actually do that. After the walking castle, I'll probably work on the actual game itself, like the actual mechanics. I'll start with the character first because that's the primary, that's everything of the game. It's the movement mechanics that really make the game. So I'll start there. Then I'll start getting into the environment and blah, blah, blah. No promises because I don't make promises anymore. And that's that. That's what's going on there on that front. So for this stream, I was thinking, well, what do we want to do? I think I'll just wing it. This first string, just for fun. Something like a tank or something would be nice. So, hope you enjoy. If you have any questions, comments, or anything, feel free to ask, because I'm doing this for the learning of others as well as entertainment, so feel free to interject. Which there's no one around right now, so I'll just go radio silent for now. And hope you enjoy. Hi, Martin Man. Glad to see you. Yeah, it has been a while. Sorry for the absence. Things have been crazy, but planets have aligned and things are good now, so glad to start streaming again. Do the fun stuff. I think I'll be doing it more often, actually, just to be used to it. So how things have been with you? Good, I hope. How's school going? Yeah, so right now I'm just making a something. I'm thinking a tank. We'll see where it goes. Mostly just for fun, honestly. Nothing serious. We'll do some more targeted stuff the next stream, maybe. If I can get combobulated enough for it. Here's a new tool I figured out. Split tools. Really helps out. Because a lot of times you'll have this right here. You just don't want that. What you need is this. There you go. So yeah, just living and learning. School is, should I say, strange. I was expecting to learn a lot. I'm learning a lot in a different way, honestly. But yeah, I'm here for the soft skills, not the hard skills. And honestly, that's actually pretty good so far. Come on. My mouse has been double clicking lately. Maybe time for a new one. Let's see. Or it may just be physical, I'm not sure. Oh wow, CAD design. Wild ride so far. Wow. Wild ride. That's good. That's good to hear. I mean, I hope you're learning a lot. I mean, I hope a wild ride doesn't mean stressful or anything like that. Because honestly, like, trial by fire is the best way to learn. Like, if you're... As long as you're not struggling. But if you're being challenged, that's where you want to be. Yeah, and I apologize if my responses are late. I have the latency on normal, so I might put it to low latency now that I have internet. Good internet. Oh, what's wrong with this mouse? Yeah, before I would struggle to make 1 megabyte a second, or 1 MBS, or whatever it was. Now I'm making 300. It's crazy. Never had that before. Let's see what we're gonna do with this. Computer-aided design. Not sure. I'm imagining that's more precise than... More precise version of 3D modeling. For architecture, maybe. But that's good. CAD is excellent. I'm taking... Right now, I'm taking character rigging. Like, for Is they're actually doing it on Blender for some reason. Surprise. I think it's just more convenient for them to do it there. So that'll be a good way to break into that. I'll never stop using Sketchup, but I think Blender will really help out in certain aspects, like the soft model stuff. And also, I'll probably get into the geometry script as well, because I have a lot of proceduralisms that I want to try out. Especially for the machines of the main characters. Or the antagonists or whatever. So yeah, that'll be fun. Let's see, this all needs to be... But yeah. Very interesting indeed. It's actually, I don't know much about Blender, so it'll actually be slightly more of a challenge than the last few classes. Hopefully. Right now we're just rendering boxes or whatever. Which I prefer because I have a lot on my plate right now. I don't think I will one-up these ones. Let's see, where do we want to go with this? I believe we should do this. So yeah, I was thinking, like, someone asked me, let's save this. Someone asked me, how do you make the, like, where do you come up with your ideas? And I was like, raised my finger to say something, then I had to think, then I couldn't figure it out. I don't know. I have a lot of hunches, a lot of theories. Like, people will just say it's an art style, you learn it by doing art. Art is art. But I would like to quantify that, like, how specifically could someone learn to do these things? Because it's a procedure, like, there's a set algorithm to it. I would like to, like, figure what that is specifically. And the reason I thought of that is because this music is actually the theme song of one of my recent models. Because I do use power songs as a seed for the proceduralism. As in, like, what the model will end up being. Which sounds weird, but... Like, for example... This was the theme song of this one right here. This is what I was listening to when I was making this. I wanted it to match this music. It was actually timed to be with this music. And yeah, because a lot of the things I make really aren't planned. So they have to have a seed, like a determining factor of where they'll end up being. Or else they'll end up as random noise. Because this is all just procedural edge extrusions. Which, that's my favorite word apparently, procedural. The same with everything else, where it's like a single word. Like this one was just old. And I was thinking, what is old? Duh, tractors are old. And it just kind of grew into this. Same with all this other stuff. What is power? Well, a power plant could be mounted on a mech. This mech now has a power plant and batteries. Same with darkness. What is dark? Creepy creatures are dark. And same with signal. Like, what could a signal be mounted on? Well, it can mount it on an array. What's an array? Antlers. Antlers go on a deer. We have a robot idea. It just branches off like that. Fractal patterns. I guess that's what they call creativity, but I want to quantify it, so that's what I'm trying to figure out. Same with this one right here. The seed was tower, just the word tower. So we ended up with a tower and everything that grew from it, because it had to be a robot. And where's the robot going to be manifest inside a tower? Well, the robot carries the tower. And that's just how they do it. They just grow. And it sounds inefficient, but these actually didn't take so long, so they are feasible. It's just I have to find a reason for them to exist now. Which will be the game I'm working on, so. It's all good. I've learned a lot from this past semester. Master Fusion 360 on architectural domain competition. I think my internet is slow. Yeah. I apologize if this is way late. Yeah, Fusion 360. Wow, congratulations on winning an architect. Yeah, it's good. Wonderful. Glad you won that competition. Architecture design competition. Cool. Yeah, I wish you could share links. I would just love to see what you made. I really wish I knew how to make architecture. Someone commissioned me to make this right here. Which, it was based off an HDRI image and had a lot of fisheye skewing. Well, I figured it out, all the angles and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a nice change of pace, actually do architecture in an architecture program. Yeah. Stuff like that. Which honestly, I should be making more architecture. It's just, for the game, it'll be modularized, and then it just ends up being modules, and that's how it'll be assembled. Like, it won't be actually be monolithic. So it may not be efficient to actually just make models of it. That's my excuse anyway. I'm pretty sure that's not how it actually works. I probably should just be modeling architecture. I think the reason I avoid it so much is because Sketchup is an architecture program and that's what everyone makes in it. And I'm always going against the flow. I need to start realizing that sometimes you have to do the path of least resistance. Thank you, since I learned all the basics from you. Sketchup skills have been able to quickly learn other software like Fusion. Aww! Thanks. That's glad to hear. Glad to hear it. Fine. Yeah, I was wondering if anyone was actually learning anything from this. Good to hear that. Which honestly, I wish I explained it more because I just kind of randomly do stuff. That I just don't know what to explain sometimes because I just don't know how advanced users are. What is considered advanced because I'm kind of out of the loop. I'm kind of in my own little bubble. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that. If you do have more questions, feel free to ask. I don't mind being interrupted or anything like that. Oh yeah, speaking of path of least resistance, this was going to be the subject of the stream, but I wanted to do a test run quick, and this is where I ended up in like half an hour, 45 minutes. I was not convinced. So I don't think we'll be making things off of a reference. Because it kind of ends up being kind of the same thing, like the way this one was made. Which is not very useful because it's kind of a mess. Like, this is not game-ready geometry. Which I'm not sure why I always want to make this game-ready, but just a thought. So yeah, Fusion, eh? Yeah, I've looked at Fusion a little bit. It was a bit too exact for me, but that's I just make up excuses all the time. I'm still procrastinating on Blender, because that's my next target. Where did I leave this? Don't know where I left my model. Yeah, I'm just procrastinating a lot. I always make up excuses like, oh, this is too exact, this is too... So very soon I'll be getting into Blender. At least just a little bit, because the prototype game will rely on very low poly models, so I will be using SketchUp for that. That'll be probably for the next half year. So I won't be needing Blender in that time, so I'll probably be using SketchUp. Oh, here's another model I made. Here's a running mech. So yeah, this one was made in SketchUp. Let's pull up his original file quick. Because I wanted to make it a humanoid robot for once. So yeah, there we got a humanoid robot. Just to prove that we can. Different modular components in there and stuff. Hold up. Oh, about to freak out. Internal geometry, don't want that. So yeah. And yeah, so the game will be very basic in the coming months. I'll be focusing more on the actual dynamics, not the actual modeling. I've made enough models for a little while, I think. Can't figure out where I left the one we were working on. Very disorganized. So I'm just trying to leave opening up other ones. Yeah, where the heck did it go? Oh, I know where it might have went. Here we go. Yep, back to where we were. Let's see, where were we going with this? This is supposed to be some sort of military vehicle. I think... I know what we're doing. So yeah. Next few months are going to be very, should I say hectic. I'll be going to Canada for that thing. I've never stepped foot out of America, so... that's going to be a can of worms. Which I figured out the sad thing about it is they won't actually record it. I was hoping they would record it. Which I may just end up recording it, just making a new one just for YouTube or whatever. At least going over the important bits anyway. Because I'm going to go through my entire history of Sketchup in the presentation. So that'll be fun. And then once after that, when I get home from that, it'll be early October. That's the ultimatum time. That's when I actually decide, okay, I'm doing this as a profession. I'm going to actually get very serious with it. And not be so casual about things all the time. Elaborate on the architecture competition. It's really not that big of a deal as it might sound. It's high scope competition. Most of the time we're spent on researching the construction site. Nah, you won it. That's what matters. Honestly. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Running Mech is... he's a nice guy. But yeah, celebrate your victories, even if you think they're small. Which I think everything I do is small. It's good to celebrate your victories. Congratulations on your win. And yeah, just learning in high school and all that stuff. It's most excellent. I think I have a render of that guy laying around. Let's see if I do. Mech renders. Racer. Here we go. Here's what he looks like when he's rendered. Yep, this was in Substance Painter. Got all the textures in there and stuff. Which I actually animated this guy as well, but I don't know if I can put that on the stream. It won't load for it or whatever. So yeah, he's rigged. He's ready to animate. He's game ready and all that stuff. I just wanted to prove that I could. He's not actually part of the game or anything. He's kind of a cross-country racer. Interesting. He's fun. He looks kind of like a Spartan, is what my brother said. I should probably do more with him because he's game ready, animatable. Let's see what we can do with this right here. Very unpolished, but you could post the link here today. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I don't know if YouTube allows links. May have to find some other avenue for that. But yeah, I would like to see it. Like, I don't mind at all if it's unpolished. I can't think of a... Yeah, I can't think of a way to make a proper link right now. If you do, let me know. Where was I going with this? Yeah, that'd be fun. I wish the chat really did allow links. I wonder if there's an option to enable that. Let's see. Because I like everything related to anything, really. Let's see. So yeah. Architecture. I'll be getting into that sometime. I was wanting to do it before, but that was whenever I was really scattered-brained. And I have realized that I only have a certain amount of time to do these things. Which is basically all day, but that's still limited. That's... Even if I had all day to do everything, that's still not enough to do everything. I have learned, finally, after how long I've been doing this. So I really have to choose what I want to do. And I have decided it will be the movement system for the game, because that is numero uno. That is the most important part of a video game, is the movement system. If you have a movement system, you have a game, because that's the very first impression the player will have. And if your movement system is fun, that's all that matters. So that's the can of worms I'll be getting into. No advanced modeling paradigms, no proceduralisms. Finish the castle, work on the prototype, do schoolwork. Those are the first steps. And so yeah, I gotta prioritize. Now that I'm a professional, quote unquote. Unpaid professional. It's basically being my own intern, because I'll be working for myself. Okay, intern, go do intern stuff. Yes, sir. Which is a funny way to put it, but that's kind of how it is. Yeah, I just gotta get serious. And I was thinking, like, being serious is like... For the longest time, I thought being serious was really concentrating, focusing, like putting everything you have into what you're doing. I figured out that's not the case. Being serious about something is sitting down and actually doing it, no matter what. Like, no matter what mood you're in. Pushing through is easy. Like, once you start, it's not hard starting. I mean, it's not hard staying, doing something. Starting is the hardest part. Let's go on your channel and Reddit for some time. Saw you moving Maze project. Wow. Love to hear you're exceeding your peers. Well, yeah, thanks. Glad you noticed it. I mean, honestly, I'm not out to exceed peers. Because these people that are in this program are all like, they just barely started doing these kind of things. And it's catered towards them. They're all a bunch of kiddos. Like, they're pretty cool guys. It's just, they're just barely getting into it. So I'm not out to like Seal Club or anything like that. Idea is not to surpass other people, it's to surpass myself. Because when I was doing the course material, I was very unimpressed. Because it's just very basic stuff. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to do it, go my own way and do my own thing. And that's how you learn. So yeah, and the reason I was kind of standoffish about it is because professors, a lot of times, they just don't take kindly to that. Oh, you're trying to do something different from everyone else. How dare you? So yeah, that's why I was kind of standoffish about it. But yeah, I don't really care what the professor thinks in these type of classes. If there is something like advanced, like things that are actually outside of my knowledge pool, like the one I'm in right now, like for Blender, then yeah, I'll definitely stay conservative and not try and pester the professor too much, or not be a nuisance or whatever they think I'm doing from their perspective. Not jostle the boat or whatever. So yeah, not out to outdo anyone. Just want to actually learn something. I'm here to learn. For better or worse. Because it's now or never. Because I should have gone professional a long time ago. But I haven't had the space or the resources or the mindset. But now that I do, there's no excuses. It's do or die. But yeah, and another thing is, whenever I first moved here, it was very stressful and I was very fearful. Like, I was just so scared of actually giving up everything I've become to become something else. Which I'm starting to realize that I really shouldn't fear that. I should embrace it. Finally. Things are finally going to change. That's what I've wanted. It's going to be fun. I need to have fun again. Not worry about things. Don't be stressed. Because my whole life has been stress. And depression, and etc., etc. Chemical imbalances. And I'm tired of it. And another thing I've noticed, for better or worse, or I've noticed for a long time, but I've just finally acknowledged that it's something I should do, is, you know how artists, whenever they start doing things, they stick with one thing. Like, if you look at artist profiles, they always make the same thing. Like, some people just make tanks, some people just make planes, some people just make architecture, some people just do this, some people just do that. And I used to hold that in contempt, like, they're just doing the same thing over and over again. But I have realized I should not hold that in contempt, because that's called building an audience. It's called building an actual style. Oh, how did the virtual tour event thing go with the quad pedal skeletal angel? Oh. Okay, I'll explain what I was talking about in a second. So yeah, the quad pedal skeletal angel winged mech. That's actually for a physical event, not a virtual event. That'll be at the base camp I'm going to at September. I mean, late September, 25th. Flying to Canada for that whole thing. That'll be there. It'll be a physical event. Like, people will pull out their phones. There'll be like a little thing they can do. Augmented reality. It's for their... Because I'm using Sketchup. And this whole base camp is for Sketchup. So that's why they made the whole contest. And so that has some sort of exhibit. So yeah, let me open that quick. Starlight. So yeah, that'll be there. That'll be a physical event. I'll be there for that. Okay, but here's what happened with this though. So they were judging it based on creativity, originality, modeling prowess, etc., best in show. It did not make the top 3 for some reason. And the reason that happened is because it's too complex to be displayed in augmented reality. Unfortunately, I mean, the poly count was limited to 200,000. This one has model info 197,000. So it's within parameters. But what happened is it relies too heavily on edges. See all this detail right here? Way too many edges. So the actual viewer for augmented reality was struggling with it. so it's just not optimal, not optimized for the actual viewing. So it did not reach the top 3. Yep. I'm surprised too. Like, I was like, what? Didn't make... Huh? But I'm not put out about it. Like, this was quite the struggle bus to make in 2 days. I mean, 5 days. And I'm just glad that I finished it. I was just trying to prove to myself that I could do it. I wasn't out to win, specifically. So I feel like I'm a winner either way, so I don't care. Let them have their cake. To each their own. It's very subjective. I mean, for judging and stuff, like, I'd rate this a 10 on originality, 10 on model complexity, 10 on everything of their criteria, but if it's not, like, cohesive to what they actually want, because this is a very casual event, like, everyone, like, kids and people will be there. They want colorful, nice creatures. This is not a colorful, nice creature. This is like a serious creature. So I'm not surprised. Well, a little surprised, but not put out about it. Things happened. To each their own. I'm just glad it exists. So yep, there's that. Life isn't about winning. Because a lot of times you'll put in more effort than everyone else, but the sad reality is if you don't cater it to what people want, then you just won't make the top. Which I will not, that's a good learning lesson for the game I'm working. Like, when I make the game, I'm not gonna put in a huge amount of effort for little things. I'm gonna focus on what people want. Good learning lesson. Let's see if we can open this again. Yeah, very good lesson, because I made a procedural generator a long time ago for tanks. Like an actual, like, procedurally generating a tank. I can't put animated things on the stream, but I made that, and I had to make that in a month, and I put in like hundreds of hours in a single month. Like, for a whole week, I only got like 3 hours of sleep per night. Constant Monster Energy drinks, just trying to reach that deadline to make procedural tanks. And it had a huge amount of features. It had a lot of complexity in it. Let me see if I can find a small screenshot of the complexity involved. Let me see. But what happened with it was it wasn't polished enough for people to actually like it. Like, it had a lot of features, but it just wasn't polished. And that's what people want, is polish. So another one that was more polished by someone else that had a lot less features, that was the one that won, unfortunately. So that's a good lesson, that if you're going to make something for a contest, don't focus on complexity. Focus on presentation. It's all about presentation. It's all about that wow factor. Which I thought I had it, but apparently not the right kind of wow factor. Which, yeah, I don't regret it. Let's see. Keep forgetting. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sad about it. I focus, whenever I'm doing competitions, I always focus on what I can learn from it, not winning. Which, yes, I definitely want to win, but it's always about what you learn. Because I learn by trial and error. That's the way I learn, by doing. Trial of fire. I don't plan things ahead of time. I say, okay, throw me in, coach. I get trampled, but then the next few games are better. Which is different for the game I'm trying to work on. That's very iterative. We'll just have to see. It's all uncharted territory, but I will make it to the best of my ability. And that is a promise. To give everything that I have into whatever I do. I just have to learn how to do it more often, that's all. More consistent, more disciplined, more... yeah, just more straightforward with it. Not so convoluted all the time. Not based on my moods or my chemical imbalances, what I'm feeling about at the day. Just do or die. Hold up. Demonstration. Can you give a demonstration on the procedural tank generator? Oh, I don't know if I can load it. It's very, it's kind of old. It's very, how should I say it? Very unoptimized. I mean, I think I can, let me see if I can load something. I mean, if I can't load it today, I'll have it by next stream. It is quite a can of worms. It's loading right now. The Epic Games Launcher. Ah, looks sick. Ah, thank you very much. It's getting there. We just barely started. Trying to figure out where I'm gonna go with it. I think I can get a link. Hold on, though. Yeah. I'll link it after the stream somewhere. Because I don't know if I can load it right now. But I do have it posted somewhere. Yeah, unfortunately I don't have the procedural tank generator on hand. But I will keep that in mind. I will get that ready for you next stream. Let's see. Here's something interesting. We have to make a bit of geometry here. Let's try this. So what we shall do is... how do you import from Sketchup to Unreal? I tried using Blender, but it always imports some different pieces. So what I do is... hold on, I can't think with this. What I do is I just export it as... what do you call it? 3ds. Then I export and I import it into 3ds Max. And then I process it there. Tried using it in Blender, but always imports in different pieces. So, what you have to do is when you import it into Unreal is you have to mark it as, what do you call it? Combined meshes. So there's an option when you import it to combine if they're in separate objects. Normally I put it all into one object. You have to conglomerate it, which in Blender I think is like Control J or something. But yeah, in 3ds Max I vertex weld everything into one single object. There is an option in Unreal to make it so you don't have separate objects. Which I'll have to start importing SketchUp models directly into Unreal. So just know specifically what's going on with that. Which I may make a guide on that sometime, but... yeah, normally I just use 3ds Max. So yeah. But yeah, I'll figure that out. I really need to start making more tutorials. Because a lot of the things I make just are really not well explained. I really want something here. I don't want to do it manually though, but the geometry is not meshing. The best way to do this would be like this, I think. I know what to do. Like this. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I don't have any specific advice for that offhand. Because a lot of times the way I do things is very trial and error kind of ways. But yeah, I'll keep that in mind. Next time I have time, I'll look into that and actually formulate an actual tutorial on that. I don't have anything offhand though. Alrighty. So yeah, you may have to do that in Blender. Blender is your go-to. I use 3ds Max, but I wouldn't suggest exporting directly into Unreal unless it's architecture or something. Then I do that with Twinmotion, which is basically the same thing. And then you can even link Twinmotion files to Unreal. Now, you can do that now, which is pretty cool. Using snap tools. Huh. Yeah, you shouldn't have to do that. You can import, and you should be able to export it. I mean, if it's a simple model, you could make it, yeah, directly in Blender. Which I'm not sure how good the inferencing on Blender is, honestly. That's the reason why I'm kind of procrastinating on actually trying it more. Because I rely a lot on inferencing. Which for this kind of stuff, maybe I could get away with making it more, I don't know, loose. But then it would be it would change the art style a lot. So, yeah, kind of sitting my thumbs on that. Hold up. Anyway. Something like that. Alrighty. Where are we going with this? We need to make something big. Yeah, snap tools. I'm not sure. What I'm really interested in Blender is actually Boolean tools, like non-destructive workflows. I'll really be getting into geometry script while making the actual mechs, like the machines. Like, let me pull up an example. Like the creatures for the actual game, that'll be the antagonists. Because these ones are very, should I say, free-form in their morphology. So actually procedurally generating them will be the most efficient way of making them. But I'll have to get into geometry script for that. But that'll be fun to do. Because I've been looking forward to that for a long time. Because these ones just take way too much effort to make in SketchUp. And making the actual morphology procedure will be really adds into their actual lore as well, because they grow out of the ground as well. So we'll really get into that not soon. I have other things to do first, which I think I have a collection of all of them together. If I try to join the models of textured sphere for some reason, ABs come missing. Oh yeah, because in SketchUp, when it exports, it's all like separated vertexes. It's just not, yeah, the vertex information does not survive if you try to join the models, because it vertex welds. Yeah, up here are all the creatures. These are all concepts for what will actually be in the game, whenever I actually get to that point. Platypus. Deer, Tyrannosaur. Man, this is slow. I don't even know what that is, honestly. Oh, someone... Oh, real quick. Yeah, someone posted a meme of this. Let me see if I can find it. I thought it was pretty funny. If I can find it. I don't know if I have it offhand. So yeah, these will be the main antagonists or protagonists. You'll be able to join them, I suppose. Here we go. Aw, thanks. Which honestly, I have a lot more to do still. These are just prototype models. Because, yeah. I'm trying to figure this out real quick. Yeah, way too much to do. Hold up, it's being stupid right now. I'm trying to load this thing, but it's not letting me do it. Which is kind of dumb. Okay, here we go. I got it. So yeah, we'll get there. There we go. I'm trying to get this one right without this guy. Yeah, someone posted this whenever I posted that. Will you please? Ah, I see the resemblance. Thank you for that, I guess. Prototype models. I'm not kidding, actually. These are our prototype models. These are meant to figure out the actual extent of what I can do, like in the engine and stuff like that, and also morphology. Because believe it or not, I mean, the models will actually become far more complex than this. They'll become much larger once I start actually treating it like a job. Which I will not make promises because I hate making promises. I never keep promises. But the thing is, they're going to become much larger. They have to become much larger. Yeah, dinosaur. It's funny. Oh, thanks, yeah. They'll get there. I think they count as prototypes because I have to make a lot more of them, and I have to make them much larger, and yeah, all that stuff. Which brings me back to what I was talking about with artists, which make one type of object. It's because they're actually established as an artist. Like, that's all they do. Like, they make one particular thing. And that's what I'm lacking, because I'm just all over the place. I'm just making things just left and right, just trying out different things. So yeah, yep, here's a walking city. The reason I opened this is because this is how large those other machines have to become. Because the gameplay will actually depend on you actually being in a mech inside another mech. Like, you'll be fighting inside other robots. They'll be that large, several kilometers wide. But then I actually have to make the subsystems for them and actually plan them out ahead of time rather than randomly. And that's going to be a can of worms, but that has to happen. But what has to happen first is I have to find the discipline to do that. So this is going to be the first one. This is meant to be a prototype model, but this is not a prototype, this is a precursor. Once I finish this one, I'll know I'll have the tools necessary to make a lot more of them. Which is branching off to this one. The first prototype model was supposed to be... Did I use any real buildings? No, actually. Well, actually, yeah. It's very important to have references. Let me see if I can drop the references in. Because, yeah, no, I can't make this stuff up, like... What do you say? Just from nothing. Which, the actual layout of it, yeah, that was all from nothing. The specific morphology is from nothing. The whole idea of it is from nothing. But the actual paradigm of the modeling is from a reference. Let me see if I can pull that up. Tower. Like, for example, this is what I use for references. Like, you might see the resemblance. It's kind of like Stable Diffusion with artificial intelligence. You start out with a seed, and once you have that seed, you can make the rest of it. This was my reference. Which, a lot of this stuff is like... kind of different. Like, this one wasn't actually part of the reference. Stuff like that. Like, a lot of these things aren't actually part of it. These are all bits and pieces of different things. Like, here's another reference. Stuff like that. Because this meant kind of be steampunk almost. Which, here's the thing though. This is not actually finished. This is far from finished. This is actually just the base model. Because what's next on the list is this is going to be modularized. Actually parted out. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I like it too. It's going to look a lot better when I actually make it proper. Because what's going to happen is this is all going to be modularized. I'm actually going to go in here and actually detail all of this stuff up and make it much nicer. I'm going to import it into Unreal Engine, and it's going to be actual real time. Which I don't know if I have any screen. Oh, here's a screenshot. So here's just the prototype model right so far. Which I'd load that right now. It's just my graphics card is terrible. I think I'll have to get a new graphics card before I do that. And this is going, yeah, this is just the base. It's going to look a lot better. Because you're going to be able to walk around on it and stuff while it's moving around. Real time. So yeah, and I'll probably... And what I mean by modularized is I'll be like parting it out, work on individual components, and then I'll reassemble it inside Unreal Engine. And it'll become its own little sub-object. Each of these legs will become their own little skeletal mesh that moves programmatically. And I already have the system for that, which I don't know if you already saw it, but for that other creature I had, which I have in other videos. Yeah, Unreal Engine 5. It'll rely heavily on the Lumen and Nanite as well. That's why my graphics card is dying from it, so... And it'll be very high fidelity, at least compared to what I'm usually making. Which, no promises. I hate promises. So yeah, remember this guy? Remember this guy had the, what do you call it, the procedural animation? So the same aspects will be applied to the walking city as well. So it'll have the same system. So yeah, that'll be fun to do. It's gonna be a can of worms, but we'll get there. So yeah, there's a lot of work to be done. A lot of work. Let me see if I can find it. I already started parting it out. Like, here are all the modules that are actually made up of it. Which, when you actually start parting it out, because these were made on an as-need basis, you'll start to see a pattern. Like, there's a medium arch, there's a small arch, there's this type of arch. They're all unique in their morphology. Like, this one has a crenulations on top. This one has these spires. This one's more of a bridge. This one's more of a embattlement. Different things like that. And different morphologies per tower. You don't notice that when you're actually making it, which is very interesting. And once I get all these figured out, I'll make them much higher fidelity. Then I'll piece them together again. Yeah, Lego style. Indeed. It's going to be a can of worms, though, because a lot of these are just not properly... They don't really fit together that great. Like this one. They're all very monolithic. Like this is very monolithic. It's just one giant chunk. So I'll have to make the UV coordinates very nice. And the back isn't even finished yet. Like this is meant to be like a sailing galley of a sailing ship. Which is not finished yet. It's very monolithic. So we got to figure that out. I don't have any references on that. Oh, here's a reference. I really need to start making models like that, honestly. I've been neglecting the bolts. That's more of a strand beast type of thing. Yeah, it's not great right now, but it'll get there. This model in UEFR will make a good GPU. Oh my gosh. Like, okay, so I actually tried to do this in Unreal Engine. If you haven't seen my last video, I was getting like 10 frames a second. I have a GTX 970. It's not going to cut it, so I'm going to have to get a new graphics card if I'm actually going to pull this off. So yeah, that's not going to be... Kind of sucks, honestly. I wish I had a graphics card. Let's see. Something came to mind. Some other model I was working on before. Where'd I leave it? I just leave models all over the place. Here we go. Yep, Strand Beast. I really should make something like that, honestly. This is what came to mind just now. I really just need to start making more bolts and stuff. Does Sketchup work with nanite? So, I actually brought this up a long time ago, before it came out. Like, I wanted to figure out if it would actually work for me. I put it in the forums asking if it would actually work. And someone said straight up, no, it won't work for you. Because it's triangle streaming. And triangle streaming will mess up your geometry. So I was like, oh. Which, it turns out it's a lie. He lied to me. You can use SketchUp geometry as nanite geometry. I've used it before. I don't know if I have any examples on hand, but... Like for this one right here. I was very concerned, like, if this would help me. For this type of geometry. So yeah, you can do it. I put it in the stream before. Like, I had... The Beast. I had, let's see, 300 of these things. Right here. 300 of these on screen at the same time. And I was getting decent frames. Well, as much as my GTX 970 would give me. So it can work. Which, honestly, this one will probably be using nanite. Because it needs it, honestly. There's a lot of polygons. There's 1 million polygons. It's not even finished yet. So yeah, it'll be using it. You can use nanite. Can't you just export and remesh? So... I mean, this is rendering. Like, I can remesh it. But then I'll end up with a... remeshing, how? No, I don't think I'll be able to remesh it. Because the problem is not with the actual faces. It's more a problem of these things right here. Like the smooth portions. That's really the bottleneck that really gets me. Because a lot of times I'll just throw in a billion edges right like that. Like right here. There's a lot of them. Really haphazardly. And I'm going to have to rely on other triangle streaming. At least for this one. The actual skeletal meshes are actually use LODs inside the engine. I don't have to worry about that. So skeletal meshes are fine. The actual super high poly stuff like this that are monolithic, that aren't actually skeletal, yeah, nanite will help. Which I still have a lot of experiments to do to make sure of it. But knowing the technology is there, as long as I know it's there, I'll have to do a lot of experiments to figure it out. But in due time, I want to focus on the movement system first, because that's the priority when it comes to making a game. It will be the movement system. Let's see, where were we? Which that doesn't require much modeling, so all in due time. But yeah, I'm very confident it will work though, one way or another. But yeah, I have to really prioritize what I'm going to do though. One step at a time. Maybe we'll get there though. So yeah. And yeah, and I was saying, where was I? I keep losing my train of thought on the whole paradigm of the modeling, the large things. These are all prototype models because they were made kind of just randomly with no meaning for their existence. In other words, the things I'll be making soon will have a reason to exist, and they'll be very, how should I say it, specific in what they do. So I'm going to be making a lot more of them. They'll be much more complex. And that's what I mean by serious. Because a lot of these models are nice. I like them. They have skill behind them, but I'm not really... I need to focus on how that can be used. Because I'm my own boss, kinda. So I have to be actually serious with it. And not just make whatever I feel like at the time. Yeah, 1 million. Indeed. 1 million. I don't know if anything else will have 1 million polys. I don't know. There's a distinct possibility that something else may have that amount of polys later on. Because I have to make something like... I can find it. I'm always looking for models. They're never in one spot. Like I have to make... Where is he? Oh my gosh. What a mess. I know where he is. He's in this folder right about here. Like this thing. So this thing is another prototype model. The antagonist. But the problem is he's too small. He's only about... A person is about yay big to him. But the machines that you'll actually be fighting in the game will be absolutely huge. Like kilometers wide. But it has to maintain this amount of fidelity at this scale. And that's going to be proceduralism. So there is a distinct possibility that some models later on will have more than 1 million polys. And with nanites, anything is possible, I think. I'll just have to see. I'm more concerned about the dynamics, because a lot of the machines will be very breakable with their dynamics. So that's what I'm concerned about. It's not the polygons, it's the actual modules of it. So yeah. Like, I actually have to make a damage model. Like, all these pieces have to get blown off. And then I have to put in different material parameters for that. Different subsets of actual mesh pieces. Which is a lot of work, but it'll be worth it. It'll add a lot more dynamicism to the game. But I have to do that with low poly meshes first. All these high poly stuff will have to wait until after the prototype phase. But yeah, but they will work. It's just work and R&D and etc., etc. But once we get it down to a system, which I hope to really get into later on, or not even later, like 1 month from now is the ultimatum. We'll really start doing that. That's the idea anyway. Always scheming about things. Actual practice, what actually happens, we'll just have to see, play it by ear. No promises. But I do have goals. And goals are nice to have. But I will promise things that I will have at least something like what I've been talking about with giant machines and modular components. Because that's non-negotiable things as far as I'm concerned. Those have to be part of the game. So yeah, I'll be putting a lot of research into that stuff. And I won't do it unless I know it's actually worth it. And I feel it's worth it. But yeah, I don't want to overhype it either, though. It'll get there. The net limit is the amount of layers in a single place. Ah. That's from actual layering geometry. Like, they're talking about, like, if you do stuff like this. If you have just a bunch of things intersecting each other. Which, I'll probably avoid that whenever I make the proceduralism. As in the generator for the machines. So that won't be a problem for me, I don't think. It'll be optimized in that respect. It won't have a lot of interpenetrating geometry. Because I'll do a lot of component instancing where it actually substitutes different damage models based on its context. Like, the damage model won't actually be present when it's not damaged for optimization. I don't know how much memory that'll eat up. There's a lot of benchmarking that'll have to happen. It's all trial and error. Start simple at first. Slowly make way up to the advanced things. So yeah. But I don't think that'll be a huge problem, at least from what I can foresee. Things always pop up, though. Which I'm pretty confident it'll work, though. It's just going to... It's not on the list of priorities currently, though. So it's all just speculation so far. Let's see. That's not what I want. We want this. We're gonna make some treads for this tank. Honestly, I really need to remake that procedural tank generator now that I know what I'm doing. Because I made that whenever I was just learning how to program. And it ended up being, like, really, yeah, messy. And very convoluted, but it still worked. Hold up. Is this a different size? Yeah, that ain't right. But we'll get there. Let's say you attack one of these kilometer-long machines. How long would it take to defeat it? Like, how would you power scale the different mech classes? Alrighty, so... that I'll be playing by ear, but as far as I know, it'll be very, it'll be much faster paced than most games. Like in Monster Hunter World or something like that, if you're facing a giant monster, it takes forever to kill the darn thing. Because it has a huge health pool, and it's just, blah, it takes forever. The thing is about the game, the mechanics I plan for it is it won't really rely on health bars. It'll rely on components. And you'll have a very powerful machinery and weaponry to take it out. So I'm expecting the actual, if you're taking down a kilometer-wide machine, should only take about like 10-15 minutes at the most. Or actually, average. Like, at the most it may take up to half an hour maybe. Like it's just like a big old battle kind of thing. But yeah. Some of them will go really fast, especially if you're higher tier. That's the idea. I don't want it to take forever. Because the idea is... These are grand scale battles. Like, you'll be using weapons... Let's see if I can... Sorry if I'm interrupting too much. Like, you'll be using weapons... This kind of size. Like, whenever you're building a base, you'll be making your base and doing your thing and stuff. And you'll be able to make very large things, like actual component structures. And one of those component structures is called a geocannon. And this is what you use to take out those kilometer-wide things. So yeah, it'll be... So it won't actually take that long, honestly. But yeah. And there won't be health pools, there won't be health bars or anything like that. What you shoot is what you destroy, basically. I mean, there will be health, like, pools and stuff, but it won't actually be bars. There won't be numbers flying at you either. Or there might be. I might enable that just for some people that want some more feedback. Because it's all about catharsis. It's about to be cathartic. And I find it cathartic on grand scale destruction. And that's the idea behind it. Because a lot of the games you play just aren't very... You don't get a lot of feedback from the things you destroy. It's like you shoot the thing and it's like, oh no, it takes damage, congratulations. Like this one, you shoot the thing and you actually see the pieces flying off the thing. Oh yeah, building system. There will be a building system. You'll be making a base. That's the primary game loop, is you make a base. And you defend the base. And stuff like that. Like, I'm not... That's going to be a can of worms. I haven't actually decided on the morphology of it yet. It'll be futuristic, whatever. But the reason behind that is because it's modular, very modular in its construction. Like, my first prototype was like these kind of modules. But I decided against it because it's too, I don't know, what do you call it? Constraining. Like, but first it was like you just place modules down. I was very, way too formal with it. The system, whenever I actually get into it, will be very informal. It'll be made on an as-need basis. As is my custom. The morphology will kind of follow this generic futuristic stuff, but also this kind of futuristic stuff. Because I want it to be more utopian, not dystopian. I want it to be nice. This is a escapism game, not a dystopian game where you're exposed to all the terribleness of real life. This is a game that you'll be able to get away from that. But there will be a lot of story elements that actually allude to the real life, so it won't be entirely escapism. Oh. Smart? Well, I wouldn't say smart. I just have a lot of time invested is all. Just a lot of things I have to iron out still. I'm not as smart as I'd like to be. There's still a lot of unknowns involved. It's a learning process. As long as we're learning. It won't be perfect the first time, but I do expect it to be something big, though. And it may take a while, though. But no promises, but I am confident it will work. So yeah, where was I? Let's see. But yeah, but that's a can of worms I'll have to get into later. Movement system is first. And character customization as well. Which I haven't got deep into that either, so, but I will. And I'll explain that in a devlog sometime. In the next few months. Let's see, where was I? Lost my train of thought. Something about destroying the giant machines. Yeah, it won't take that long, honestly. I was about to open something else. Let's see. Oh yeah. So, nah, I'll save it for later. Let's get back to modeling what we were modeling. Or we'll never get it done at this rate. Let's make those treads. Character customization is hard. I'm trying that. Oh yeah. Yeah, I was watching some devlogs other people were making of character customization systems. I can imagine it would be kind of difficult. But actually, I'm looking forward to it, honestly. That looks fun. Like, that's something I can get into. Difficult things are what really make me tick. That's why I have some really lofty ambitions for these kind of things. Because it's the difficult stuff that really make me want to do stuff. Nothing selected. What? Oh. So yeah, that'll be the fun part. That's just weird. I don't think it'll be too complicated. It's just a lot of mesh swatching. But yeah, hold up. I think I know what the problem is. Aha! So the problem is if you copy and paste something in the same spot, they'll be conflicting with each other, and sometimes you'll be grabbing nothing. So watch out for that. But yeah, that'll be fun. There'll be a lot of character customization. I really want the player to express the way they do things, because this game is all about freedom. The freedom to do what you want to do. Which the system will be very basic at first. It's just basically swatching out your colors and the helmet you wear, and maybe a skin here and there. There will be 3 different species as well. Or actually, I'm not sure on that. That's another thing I'm vague on. Because for the longest time, it's been 3 species. But the way it's working is it may just be just 2 species, because one species is actually just a subset of a different one. Like, there are species of robot, basically. And at first it was like the light robot and the dark robot, but it's like, well, they're both robots. So, yeah. Hold on. So I was thinking, well, why would they be separate then? So I'm not sure on that. We'll just have to see. The best thing in the game, yeah. I really want the player to express themselves. And here's another thing on that I'd like to get into. My theory for that is not only the character customization, the customization system, but also playstyles as well. Because this game will actually depend on interconnected game loops. Hold up. Let me figure this out quick. Because... okay. Well, it's difficult to explain offhand. Let me make this quick. Let's see. This goes here. Like, whenever I'm making the systems for the game. Okay, I'm going to explain what the game actually is first, since this is a can of worms. The game will be kind of an RPG game, but without a lot of RPG elements. Where the actual complexity will manifest is the game loops themselves. Because there's going to be a lot of interdependent game loops. Like, for example, FPS, RTS, etc., building a base, defending the base, shooting at stuff. And the thing is, it'll actually cater to all these different construction and destruction paradigms. Or actually playstyles. So if you're just the kind of guy who likes to shoot stuff, you can just shoot stuff. Or if you're the kind of guy that just likes to make stuff, you can just make stuff. If the game won't force you to do any of those things. But all these game loops will actually be interdependent of each other. So like, you could be playing online with your friend who only wants to make things, and even if you only want to destroy things. Because you can destroy the things for their base, or to defend their base. etc., etc. That's the theory anyway. But yeah, but I put a lot of thought into that too, though, and then I do believe that will work. It's all in the execution. So yeah, and then that's how the player will express themselves, not only in what they're wearing, but also what they're doing. And you'll be able to accumulate different points in different aspects, like peace or war, or diplomats, or exploring, or finding things, exploring, yeah, all that different stuff. Cyberpunk, Minecraft. I wouldn't say that. I mean, there'll be nothing like it, honestly. You won't be able to really nail it down. There'll be nothing like Minecraft and nothing like Cyberpunk, nothing like any of those things. It'll be its own flavor. But yeah. It'll be pretty cool. No, it will not be Cyberpunk. It's its own flavor. It's its own brand of sci-fi. But it will have a lot of Cyberpunk influences, though. Okay, here's the morphologies that will be present within the game. There'll be many different morphologies. That's also an extension of player expression, because the base you build will actually have different types of buildings, and they'll have modular aesthetics to them. Like, you could have something that functions similarly to other buildings, but it looks different. So the way you assemble your base is actually the way you want it to look, but it functions similarly to what other people make in their own base. So for example, some modeling paradigms will be, like I showed before, some will be retro-futuristic like this. Your base can have this aesthetic. Your base can have the other aesthetic that I was looking at before, like this one. Very complex, kind of. Another aesthetic you'll be able to have is very edgy-like. I don't know if I have that on hand, though. Yeah, that's not something I have on hand. So they'll be edgy, they'll be futuristic, they'll be blocky, and they'll be retro. And the thing about it is, this is a unique universe because it has... Okay. You have opened a Pandora's box. This is going to take a while to explain. The way the sci-fi universe works, which I'll work on the thing we're working on while I'm talking about this. I think the game might be closer to Solarpunk than Cyber. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not well rehearsed on Solarpunk. I'll look that up. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I will look that up. Yeah, but it won't be able to nail it down very well. It's its own brand of sci-fi. It'll be kind of an amalgamation of different punks, I suppose. Let's see. And yeah, so the way the universe works is, the reason why everything is so big and there's so many different things going on is because there's a element called spectra that's present within inside the ground. And this element is able to make, what do you call it? It's able to grow machines, as in they grow out of the ground, kind of. And that's where the antagonists are coming from. Because the protagonists, the people you're actually working for, they brought it to the surface, as in they're mining it. And their pollution led to these biomorphic constructs growing out of the ground just by themselves. And they become a threat. But they're just animals at first, like they don't really do anything. But then they start eating things, and they become really, really, really big. And that's where the actual, what do you call it? The conflict is actually going on. And that's why everything is so huge. because you're just literally growing everything. And that actually will be kind of how the gameplay functions whenever you're building a base, because you'll be able to build the base very quickly at high tiers. Like, you can just start slapping things down, and it'll just auto-generate itself. Which is also another way to filter into people that don't want to actually build a base, but need a base to function, and they don't have anyone online to play with. So the base will actually make itself if you want it to. So yeah, this is kind of a prototype of what the robots will actually look like. At least at first, I'm not sure. There's a lot of different modeling paradigms I have to figure out. That's my favorite word, apparently, paradigm. So yeah, like these are the different subsets of the machines themselves, based on intelligence level. There are different tiers you'll face. Some tiers are easy to kill, some are hard to kill. The large ones, okay, so the way this scales is it scales by size, but also intelligence, as in tech level. Like this is tech level 1, this is tech level 2, tech level 3 I don't have an example of, I don't think. Oh wait, yes I do. This is tech level 3. And these are just biomorphic automations. Like no one actually made these, they just happened. So yeah, there'll be different morphologies going on. These ones are called shadows, these ones are called mechanical megafauna, and these are called, what do you call them, spectrals. And yeah. And the main character. So So I thought about this for a very long time, what the main characters will actually be. And forgive me if it's off-putting, because a lot of people will find this off-putting. The main characters are actually little creatures. They're not humans. This is for a lot of reasons. Let me see if I can find an example. Let's see. Where was that one I had? I had it. Oh, here we go. So the main characters of the game will be these things. They're kind of just like bipedal creatures, almost. I wouldn't call them furries, because they're on their own little species. They'll have a lot of different aspects of them that kind of different from actual things. And yeah, that's where the main story will happen, because this is meant to be an escapism. There won't be humans, because you want to escape from humans. Humanity is just not something you want to deal with sometimes. And the thing is, not everything can be robots, because there has to be some sort of focal point, because if everything is robots, it loses its, what do you call it? Its soul, I suppose, because if everything is robot, then what is the point? Because it's all just proceduralism, like everything's just growing out of the ground. And the thing about it is, these creatures, there's a big story behind it. These creatures aren't actually native to this planet, like they're placed there, etc., etc. There are a lot of story elements involved in it. And that's what your customizable character will focus around. Which I think I have more examples of them. Which that's another, don't have much concept art of them though. I'll probably commission some artists for that. And they're very advanced in their technology. Let's see if I have something. Oh wait, yes, I do have something. To get the vibe of it. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Where'd it go? Here we go. Here's some concept art I drew. Like, I'm not very good at drawing. Get back here. Like, they're kind of like that, kind of. Like, these are the machines that are actual antagonists. Well, so here's another thing is Solarpunk. Yeah, that's interesting. I'll look that up. Solarpunk is interesting. I'll look that up. So here's another thing though. You won't actually have to be these creatures. Like, I know a lot of people will find this very off-putting. Like, they just don't want to have these characters in the game. So the option will be you can actually choose to be these. And you'll have a lot more options for customization with those. There'll be 2 factions, not just one. You'll be able to see both sides of the conflict. So you can choose to be a robot. And there'll be just a lot of different customization options and stuff. Nothing like this, but close, kind of. That's just another concept. They look more like what we were just looking at before. So yeah, you could be a robot if you don't want to be anything else. You don't have to be these creatures. But then the creatures are the ones that make these type of machines, though. But you will not be limited to actually only using the machines if you're a creature. You can be able to make these machines as well when you're a robot as well. Which, the thing I'll have to experiment with is actually if you'll be able to make these things. Since these are actually part of the faction you'll be with. They're the same species, basically. That's a can of worms I'll have to actually look into. Because I don't know if the player should be able to actually be anything besides bipedal. At least for gameplay reasons. So we'll just have to see. Let's see what else where I was going with this. But yeah, a lot more customization with that. I don't have anything offhand, I don't think. So yeah. Going back to what we were doing. I think I have some pictures, let me see. Martial robots. Yeah, like I was saying before, there's 3 different subsets, and they're all different tech levels. You'd be able to upgrade your guy, as in RPG stats. So your guy will actually become more advanced, and the aesthetic will actually change. Like, sometimes it'll be solar punk or diesel punk. It's all of that stuff. Customize a cute robot. Well? Cute robot girl? We'll just have to see about that. I'm trying to not sexualize it as much as possible. But the thing is, I'm building the game to be actually like a fun game, like what people actually want to play. It's all going to be based off what people want. So that's not in the plan, but we'll just have to see. I highly doubt it, honestly. It won't fit the aesthetic. But who knows? We'll probably stick with more conservative styles, I think, at first. Ah, hello. I am doing well. How are you? Well, better. Last few months have been really, really hectic, but we're better now. We're on our way back up. Or, yeah. Always refer to myself in third person for some reason. Yeah, doing well. Just musing over things. Just modeling things for fun. Let's see. This tank is looking kind of weird. What needs to happen is this goes like this. Yeah. So I think we'll do this. We'll focus on some more actual design aspects once I get into the prototype in October. I'm not streaming on Twitch at the moment. Is that a good idea, you think? Would people prefer if I streamed on Twitch instead? Yeah, I'm not really so rehearsed on streaming in general. I mean, I've done 33 streams, but then that's not... I'm still not really sure what is best practice. So yeah, let me know if Twitch is better. Also, I just don't know what time to actually do these streams. I'll probably do them more often, just to break the shell. But yeah, so yeah, let me know. Okay, so that we got that. What has to happen is this is actually asymmetrical, so we need an actual copy right here. Right about there. Yeah. I'll probably be streaming a lot more often. More fun things as well, because before I was just working on the beast and being moody about it. I have solved my, what do you call them, chemical imbalances. I no longer run on emotions. So I can actually work much more, how do you say it? Consistently. And that'll be fun, because I'll actually be getting into the prototype of the game too as well, in October. Ah, I see. Yeah, I see some modeling streams on Twitch from... I keep forgetting his name. He makes the cool, what do you call them? Subdivision surface stuff. He's really good at it, honestly. I need to... The reason I don't use subdivision is because if I was to actually do that, I'd go for Blender instead. But it's a good thing to know in SketchUp as well. And by subdivision, I mean like, for example, this right. Yeah. Smooth surfaces. Which I used, actually I used subdivision on the creature that I was working on. Let's see, MechWorks, Starlight. Like, I use subdivision on this one. Like that's how I got this morphology right here. Like, all of this geometry was subdivision. So, that's what made it possible. But he's really good at it. I wish I was better at it than what I am. Yeah. Someday, perhaps. Once the need arises, because I haven't actually reached this for the game yet. I haven't found a reason to do this yet. We'll get there. I'm very goal-oriented. Things don't happen unless I'm trying to do it for a specific thing. 3DS. Yeah. Good observation. Why not 3DS? I've been using that for the last forever. I think the reason I'm trying to jump ship to Blender is because it has geometry nodes. That's it. 3DS doesn't have that. Because I want to make the procedural modules. On your channel, searching for SketchUp for games videos. Oh, yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I really need to make more tutorials. Like, actually how to make these for the game. Like, specifically. Because a lot of times it's just showing the process and not the actual process. Does that make sense? Of actually importing and stuff like that. But making tutorials is just really taxing. And I'm not really set up stream-wise to do it yet. But we'll get there. Did you submit this? Yeah, I did actually submit it. Which, spoiler alert, it didn't win. Because it's not actually it's too unoptimized. I wouldn't even say unoptimized. It just doesn't work with the viewer they have. And plus, I guess it's not the style they were looking for. I think. That's my hunch, I suppose. So yeah, it did not make the top 3. I don't mind. I made it. That's what I count as a win. And that's fine by me. But yeah, so I wasn't in it to win. I was in it to win it, like, metaphorically, not literally. It was quite the marathon. Which is all my fault, honestly. It was procrastination. I gave myself 20 days. 20 days. And I started it with only 5 days to spare, and 50% of it was in 2 days. Do not recommend. Not a good way to exist. Yeah, don't do that. Do I really want this to be... Nah, never mind. It was going to be asymmetrical, but I think it looks better symmetrical. Oh yeah. We'll win. We'll get them next time. It'll be at the conference though. That's what they said anyway. As long as it works, as in it loads properly. Jupyter might be better for getting larger as there are more people browsing, as far as I know. Ah, interesting. Good to know. Yeah, because my friend, he streams on Twitch. He plays Call of Duty and stuff like that. And he prefers Twitch, so... yeah. Interesting. Submit a 3D doing its competition as well. Ooh, cool. I was looking, they submitted all of them to the SketchUp warehouse. I was looking at some of the submissions. Which one was yours? Like what flavor was it? What color was it? Etc, etc. I might remember it. Because I did get a good look at all of the submissions. Some really cool ones. I was expecting, I wasn't, yeah, very nice indeed. Okay, another thing I just noticed is I like to make these viewports kind of things. Which tanks don't have these kind of things. They have like little viewports, not big viewports. So we'll make a little viewport. We'll make it an actual module. Yeah, I'm glad to actually participate though. To see actual, like, what other people made and stuff. It's very fun. Actually do something for once that's not like trying to make something for my game or something. Why was alligator walking a dog? Oh yeah, that one. That's actually really good, honestly. Good job. You are impressive. Yeah, you really know how to make that subdivision stuff. Yeah, I'm really not much for subdivision. It's a learning process for me to still do. Which, honestly, I've been doing subdivision for as long as I can remember. It's just not in SketchUp. Which, that wouldn't take too long to learn, like, how to streamline it. I just haven't found the need for it yet. Or I have to choose my battles carefully. Yeah, to each their own. About this guy just before. Oh, it was a competition for making a creature in SketchUp for the base camp. Which, honestly, let me think. I'm still baffled by how you modeled that turret in less than an hour. Like, yeah, thank you. Actually, that's moving really slow. Like, because a lot of times I was speedrunning models, trying to actually predict how long it would take to make something like this. Let's see, I came up with... Let me see if I can find it. I wish I could move faster, honestly. So I made this thing in like half an hour, like 35, 40 minutes. But I wasn't impressed. I was like, well, we could do better. Because the thing is, this is like very esoteric geometry. Like this took too long. So I'm going to try to avoid geometry like this. I don't want another one of those sketch to line exercises. So I will not use references. References actually are a bottleneck at a lot of times. Ah, learning Blender and learning how to do quad modeling. Up a lot of Blender. Yes, very good. Yeah, that's why I'm actually procrastinating on doing quad modeling in SketchUp, because if I were to do that, I'd do it in Blender. I would probably learn that first. But, because the thing is, whenever I'm doing my presentation in SketchUp Basecamp in the next few weeks, I'll actually be explaining, what do you call it? The application of, what do you call it? Strength. Like, only stick with SketchUp when it can help you in some way. And stick with what it's good at. And what it's good at is making stuff like this. This is alignment of strength. This is why I use SketchUp over 3ds Max or Blender or everything like that. Because I have 3ds Max. And I'm really looking into Blender. But SketchUp is actually optimal for things like this where you don't know what you want and you just want to make something in like 3 or 4 days. And also, it's very good because you can just animate things just on the fly. So, yeah, it's application of strength. So I will not probably be pursuing quad modeling too much in SketchUp. Because whenever I start getting into the game, it'll be more... that's what I'll be focusing on is whenever I get there. Because I'm very goal-oriented. Like, I don't make things unless I need to make them. So... there are some battles you just have to choose. So yeah, there's that. This is something I wouldn't quad model. I wouldn't bother quad modeling a lot. Just simple things. Keep it simple. That's what SketchUp is good at. And that'll be really helpful when I'm making the prototype of the game, like making the low poly models and stuff. Because I won't actually be making complex geometry or anything. It'll just be kind of basic shapes like this. So yeah, I'll look into it a little bit more just to get what I need out of it. So yeah. See your present. I mean, aw. Thanks very much. Yeah, it'll be fun. Which is really sad because I was hoping they would record it, but they said, oh no, we're not recording it because it's too expensive. I was like, aw. But yeah, I'm really glad for the opportunity though. I'll do my best when I do the presentation. I think I may even just outline it here on YouTube, just so I have a actual evidence of it. Which the reason they don't want to record it is because they want people to actually go to the base camp. And yeah, I see the logic behind it, so yes, I won't. I respect that. It's going to be a fun thing. I'm really looking forward to it. Let me see if I can open up where we were. Yeah, and for those that don't know, the SketchUp Base Camp is a conference I'm going to in a few weeks where I'll make a presentation of all the SketchUp models I've made so far. The way I'm going to explain it is I'm going to explain my entire history, basically. Like, how I actually got to this point. Then I'll explain, like, the actual specifics behind it and stuff. So yeah, actually give some context of where this is all coming from. Hold up. Now we go here. Because, believe it or not, this really did come from somewhere. It's difficult to explain shorthand, though. Ah, I'm in the way. Get out of the way. Alright, to the next one. I have the places right. Ah, yes. Yeah, that'd be fun. I'm not sure. I don't know what the future will hold. If I'll continue to go to them all the time. I'll just have to see. It does look like a lot of fun, though. If it turns out to be really fun, then yeah, I may try to attend the next one as well. But I just don't know what will happen in the next few years. A lot will happen in the next few years. I don't know why, but for some reason the modeling is smooth. When it comes to make characters, take Blender. Yep, that is true. Yeah, if I was making characters, I would say go for Blender. SketchUp was actually designed for architecture. Like, that's what it's optimal at. If you're making architecture, SketchUp is actually very good. If you're going for characters, not so much. So yeah, whenever I actually start getting into the characters, it'll be with something else. Well, here's another thing though. I may actually assemble a team. Because another reason I came to college is to learn the soft skills. Learn how to talk to people, because I can't make this myself. Especially when it comes to sound design. So I'm going to have to rely on talking to people and finding the right person. So that's going to be a can of worms, but I think I'll get there. But yeah, so... And where I was going with that is, if that happens, if I actually have a team and I'm actually doing stuff with a team, I may actually offload some of the modeling to them. Like, make them make the characters. So I may not have to even learn how to do that. I just have to make sure the prototype works, is first and foremost. It's all in the prototype. Once that happens, I'll have a thorough base that I can say that this works, that I could get more people on board. ZBrush before it was sold to Maxon. Ah, yes, me too, actually. I have a perpetual license for ZBrush as well. I don't use it much. I use it for some commission work. But then I stopped using it, like, it wasn't my cup of tea. Sculpting is not my cup of tea. Like, honestly, I just don't like it when subscription services. I want to own the software, honestly. That's why, well, the good thing is, though, that since I'm in school, I got Sketchup for a very low price, actually. $50 for the education price. So, yeah. Very good, actually. I was kind of dragging my heels on it because I've been using 2020 for basically forever, and that was the last perpetual license. Unfortunately. At least as far as I'm aware. Which I haven't actually gone over to 2022 yet. Guess just lazy, I guess. No, not lazy. I just haven't found a need for it yet. I'm not lazy, I just need to find a reason for things first. Things don't happen unless there's a reason. So yeah. I use free. Yeah. Remake. Indeed. Honestly, okay, here's one of my pet peeves. I think they're trying to really get away from it. Like, they don't want to actually use the free versions anymore. Like, honestly, I really think SketchUp needs a good free version that isn't online. Because that's where I learned 3D. Like, that's how I was raised on SketchUp. And people will really be missing that experience if they have to pay for something. Especially if they're just trying stuff out. So, yeah. That's my opinion, anyway. Building a SketchUp as well as considering making them subscription, but not sure. Oh yeah. Yeah, you do what you want to do, honestly. Like, I personally don't like subscriptions. But yeah, I wouldn't judge you if you did that either, honestly. To each their own. It depends on how the subscription works, though. Like, for example, I recently picked up an extension called SketchUp Plus, where it gives me all this extra stuff. You don't see it, but where it's a deep select. Like, see this tool right here? Where I can just go inside a component with one click. Like, immediately. Like, nested components. And that was really helpful. But the thing is, it's subscription-based. But I didn't think twice about it. I was like, I need it! So it all depends on how good the extension is, I suppose. How much you can get away with before people start complaining about it. So I have no qualms against subscriptions, only if it's really, really good. I just don't like the idea, straight up by principle, though. Thing is, software is not one-time and it needs continuous development. That is true. Yeah, that is true, because I think the reason why I kind of, like, what do you call it, slink away at the idea of SketchUp being subscription-based is because the features that they make really aren't relevant to me, because it's an architecture program, and they're trying to optimize it for that, and that's what they're developing it for, but I don't use it for architecture, so it doesn't help me much to get newer versions. So that's my take on it. That's why I really don't like the idea of it. But then I do see the reason behind it. And that's why I don't get up really vocal about it either, though. If they decide to do a certain thing that they decide to do, that's their decision to do. And that's what they want to do. Like, there's plenty of other options if you don't like a certain thing. But if it's worth it, it's worth it. So yeah, I'm not really really opinionated on it. I just don't like having to pay multiple times for something that I don't really see much development for that affects me personally. But SketchUp has been very nice to me though. So I have my gripes, but yeah, SketchUp will always be on my good list. I don't trust companies, but I do trust people. And if you're make something that's subscription based, I wouldn't mind too much. Especially if I know you personally, honestly. That's called supporting the creator. If you know someone personally, it really puts things in a different perspective. Like a nameless company is different. Like a conglomeration, kind of. Let's see. This goes here. Okay. Something like that. Copy and paste. Yeah, SketchUp is nice. I've been using it for, let's see, long time. I was using Microsoft Paint way back when, and then as soon as SketchUp came out, because we were using Google Earth at the time, it blew our minds, as in my brother and I. It just blew our minds. I was like, what? Because we had never seen 3D stuff before. And I'm still using it. So yeah, they did something right. You just have to understand when to do other things, though. Which is soon, but not yet. And yeah, I'll probably never stop using SketchUp. I'm just too far in it, too. Yeah, so yeah, very good. Today was SketchUp developer meetup, and someone was a professor at a gaming. He said that Maya offers their software for free to students, and that SketchUp should do the same. Yeah. I mean, I'm just glad that they gave it to me for $55 for the whole studio edition. And that's commercial use and everything. That really helps me a lot. I'm just glad that it's available. It's not free, but I'm using it commercially, so 55 is nothing. So yeah, I forked that over, no problem. Oh yeah, SketchUp is really good for starting out. Which it depends on who I'm recommending it to, though. Like, if someone walks up to me and says, I'm interested in game development, I want to make a character for a video game, which I use, I'd hesitate to say SketchUp because SketchUp is not good for characters. But if they say something like, I want to just get started in 3D and make things, and maybe import it into the game engine to see how it works, I'd be like, yeah, SketchUp can help. SketchUp's a good idea. So yeah, it's very good for starting out. And also, it's very good for, we call it mechanical things. Like if they say, I want to make a concept art for like a machine, yeah, SketchUp is a really good go-to for that. It's all about machines. Like, I wouldn't use this for characters, but I am very impressed by people that do use it for characters. Like the gator you made that was walking the dog. Yeah, that was pretty cool. It can be done. You can make characters in SketchUp. Indeed. Like, it just really helps when they're like, we call it mechanical. Like, for example, I was mad, however, that Autodesk installs software that you can't uninstall. Unethical decision. Oh, yeah. I have this thing in the background that's always on. It's like, I don't even know what it does. It kind of weirds me out, honestly. It's just this thing in the desk icon here. Yeah, I just won't go away. Same with War Thunder, the video game that you drive tanks in. It does the same thing. It installs random stuff, and I just don't like it. And people really don't like that either. Hold up, I was opening something. Yeah, I can see it. I just don't like it. Here we go. Like, here is living proof you can make characters in SketchUp. Like, here's a character. This one's like fully rigged and everything. As in I exported it and all that. But it's mechanical. It's playing to the strength of SketchUp. Stop moving. Oh man. Your city must have a lot of polygons. I can imagine, like, cities really do tax your system if you have a lot of polygons. You may have to break it up into smaller chunks. And yeah, here's a character. This one's actually poly ready for games and stuff like that. This one's animated. Or I can't really show that on the stream, but I can show the render for it. I already showed this to Martin, but... So yeah, that's the render from Substance Painter. Characters can be made in SketchUp. It's just much better to make them mechanical. You have to be really skilled to do sub-D stuff, which I am not. Not in SketchUp. Like, if you want to do that, go for Blender or whatever. But mechanical stuff? Most certainly. You just have to really watch out for internal faces. Make sure that the actual geometry is manifold and proper. Like, some things are floating like this. It penetrates, and that's for actual, what do you call it, efficiency. Some models have to be efficient. So yeah. Actually, there's a lot of interpenetration. This one's isn't the best example. Let me see if I can find a better example. I'm sorry if I'm opening too many things. I just like to show stuff. Like this one right here. Let's see if I can find it. Cyber Command. Infantry. Like this model right here. Oh, thank you very much. I had to do this for a commission. Like they were making it for their video game. And it was low poly like an RTS. So it was kind of top down like this kind of. Had to be a very low poly. So you have to really make sure to make your polygons very efficient. Like no internal faces. No random geometry and stuff like that. I actually got rid of this right here. I didn't need this, so I got rid of this. That wasn't part of the actual export. For an RTS, yeah. So, yeah, getting your polygons the correct way. And I really advise against putting stuff like this, because whenever you export it, it triangulates. And it makes this huge mess like this kind of, and it really messes up your tangents. So, if possible, don't put circles on stuff like that. So yeah, but I'll detail all of that stuff in my presentation. So yeah, but that'll be fun. I'll try and see if I can get it on the YouTube as well. Whenever you export stuff, you export it modularized, like this, to support UV coordinates. Like everything is in half like this. Some things aren't in half to support, like, whenever you actually texture it. And this is how it's exported. Let's see, work projects, Cyber Command, Rocket Trooper. Let me see if I can find the actual render of this guy. I have a video of him running around in my YouTube somewhere. Here we go. Like whenever you actually texture him, he'll look like this kind of. It's an RTS, so he's very low poly. And that's why you export him half like this, so you can actually UV coordinate one side and copy it over, and you don't have to do the coordinates twice. And some things are asymmetrical, so they have to be like separated and stuff. Very modular components. But then they all kind of become one mesh when you import them and you all connect them together. So yeah. Robots. Oh yes, robots are good. I mean, in my esoteric opinion, I think SketchUp is optimal for making robots. That's why I make them in SketchUp. I can make them in 3ds Max as well, but I don't have the control. Like, I can really push like the vertices around. I can see their relationships and how they fit together and all that stuff. And I can make things that are optimal. Like this right here actually spins and stuff like that. So I have all the pieces where I need them to be. Which for an RTS, that's good. Like, keep it simple. If you're making a simple object, then yes, SketchUp is excellent. It's the complicated stuff that when things start to break down. If you want to actually make a photorealistic character or something that's human, then yeah, SketchUp isn't your go-to. But robots, yeah, robots are definitely up the alley. So yeah, very good. I love RTS. Managed to reach... Wow. I haven't played StarCraft. I played Command and Conquer. I'm assuming diamond is very high up. Interesting. Yeah, more of a Command and Conquer. And also I played, what do you call it? Supreme Commander is a really big influence on me too. Even in art style as well. So if you see Supreme Commander influences, that's where it's coming from. Let's see, this tank needs a lot of TLC. Real quick, we will make an engine. Interesting. LO diamond, low diamond level. I'd imagine diamond is pretty difficult to obtain. Diamond's usually pretty hard. Literally. Diamond pickaxe. Oh, I remember my Minecraft days now. Whenever I used to make things in Minecraft. That's another can of worms that I won't get into too much. So here's some interesting news though. The server that I used to go to has finally blown up, as it were. It was discovered, which I was predicting would happen. Because it was like really empty for a long time. Ah, well, after there is Master and Grandmaster, so level... Ah. Well, I like diamonds. Diamond is a nice color. At least you got that. But yeah. No. Celebrate all of your victories, even if you think they're small. That's good. I think it's good. Diamond is good. You got, yeah, diamond. You got diamond. You could say, you just say that to people and be like, yeah, you got diamond. Oh yeah, with the Minecraft server. Well, actually, that's kind of off topic, honestly. We'll stay focused here. I'll maybe explain that some other time. Okay, this engine has to be, what do you call it? I know what has to happen. 32 faces. I really need to learn how to do proper amount of polygon loops. I mean the amount of faces on a circle. That's my main problem when I'm making poly ready for game models. Ah, Minecraft. Yeah, who doesn't like Minecraft, honestly? If you don't like Minecraft, you're crazy. Which, no hate to anyone that doesn't, though. Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, I just can't get into it anymore. The reason I was doing it is because I wanted to actually turn it into an art medium. Like, if you see some of my videos, you can see I was trying to make it into actual animations and stuff. But then I kind of stopped doing that because I saw everyone else is doing that. For better or worse. The thing about me is I like to I shy away from things that I think are saturated, like everyone's doing it. So I'm not sure what's worth doing sometimes. But yeah, Minecraft's always fun. At least in short sprints with friends. Diamonds are the hardest material in this world. In this here world, yes it is. Indeed, indeed. Diamond drills. I don't think diamonds are as, what do you call it, uncommon as they like to make them out to be, I don't think. I think they're throttling the price just to make it expensive. Like, you pay for like $400, $500 for a diamond ring. I don't think it's worth that much. I think there's a lot of diamonds, it's just they're like not mining them as fast as they want to, I don't think. That's what I heard from a little bird, anyway. I don't know if that's real or not. But yeah, diamonds always nice. Get some diamond drills in there. How expensive would a diamond pickaxe actually be, though? I can't imagine. That would be a lot. Using 3D mouse? Ah, yes, I am using a 3D mouse. Which, at first, I was not convinced. Like, I thought it was just not worth it at all. Because the thing is, I'm still doing this with the mouse. Where I'm just right-clicking. I have a app in the background that makes it so the middle click is the right click. They're inversed. And so I'm right-clicking to orbit. And that's all I really do usually. But for rotating the model, I use the space mouse. And at first, I thought it was just not worth it. But now I swear up and down it. Like, it really takes a lot of strain out of moving the model around. So yeah, if you're going to do serious SketchUp modeling, I really suggest having a 3D mouse. I'm a believer. Yeah, indeed. You can cut, the way you do it is you cut glass with it or something. Or is that quartz? Yeah, quartz is harder than glass, so you can cut glass with it. Diamond cuts everything. Indeed. It is literal carbon. Another diamond. Actually, it's actually not that difficult to break a diamond. Like, you can crush one really with a hydraulic press, no problem. They're the hardest mineral possible, but that doesn't mean they're hard to destroy. They have a lot of strength behind them, but structurally they can be destroyed. Like, they're hard. Like, you can't scratch anything. You can't scratch a diamond with anything but a diamond, I don't think. You really can't scratch them. But destroying them, no, yeah, no problem. There's a difference. Like, if you built a skyscraper out of diamond, it most certainly will fall apart. I mean, not readily, but yeah, you can definitely, diamond can definitely break from forces. So yeah, you can, yeah, go ahead and try putting a diamond underneath a hydraulic press. It's gonna smash! But that would be really cool, though, if there was some kind of indestructible material. Carbon nanotubes or something. But yeah, diamonds are very hard. I wonder how expensive they are. Like, literally, like, actually expensive. Like, not like inflated or anything. Like, from a material standpoint. How common are diamonds in nature? Not sure. Yep. Yep, diamonds aren't indestructible. And they say diamonds are forever. Well, technically, I mean, I guess in stable conditions they'll stay forever, I suppose. You can definitely melt a diamond and all that stuff, though. Is there a glass made from throwing hot glass to water that's super strong? Ooh, tempering, or probably a different process, but yeah, interesting. Hardened glass. Make some bulletproof glass. That'd be cool. Okay, this goes here. Yeah, there's a lot of cool little things you can do to materials to make them stronger. I did some research on that because I was trying to make a tank simulator where you're actually fighting other tanks and shooting at each other. And actual material stresses. And I did a lot of research on the actual mechanics of how different materials respond to impacts. Let me see if I have a picture of that. Let's see, screenshots. Here we go. Here's some experiments I had in Unreal Engine. Yeah, bulletproof shot glasses. Like, for my procedural tank generator, I was trying to make it so it has procedural bullet holes. And this is all material instance right here. This is all part of the material. This is not 3D. And I was trying to figure out the actual material strengths of different materials and stuff. But then I kind of scrapped the whole idea because I think the actual game I'm trying to work on is more important than making a tank simulator. Which I could still do it, it's just I think is not quite as in demand because there's other games like War Thunder, and there's a new game that came out called Sprocket that you can actually make a customizable tank. And it blew my mind because it was kind of the same system that I was using for my procedural tanks. So yeah, I recommend it. Look up Sprocket, as in the sprocket of a tank. Speaking of which, these aren't... It's a video game. You can customize your tank and whatever. I haven't played it much because I really didn't get into it much. You can make some cursed tanks with it though. So yeah, it was pretty fun to look at. Hold up. I think this goes like this more. We'll keep this simple. A little bit of this and a little bit of that. Yeah, I was playing War Thunder for a long time, but I kind of stopped recently. I'm not really into the whole frustration games right now. I've got other brands of frustration to deal with. Now, here's the thing I could do here, is I can use joint push-pull. I normally don't like using it because it's kind of buggy sometimes, but I think in this case it's useful. Good. We got our sprockets, we got our treads. Yeah, good. Bulletproof glass. Yeah, I was thinking about that, like, how viable is bulletproof glass in a universe I'm trying to make? Because all of these tanks really rely on that kind of stuff. Like, for example, I guess I'm reading too deep into it, honestly. I think indescribable depends on the structure in terms of building. If Madden and the table structures with less problems. It just depends on the structure. It's hard. Yeah, I think something like that. I think pyramids are really difficult to break because they're just really structurally sound. Same with spheres. Spheres are very hard to break. So yeah, if you make something, make it out of a sphere. Or even a geodesic dome, a sphere made out of triangles. Indeed. Yeah, for the Burj Dubai and stuff like that. I'm not sure how they do it. It's crazy. Oh, the reason why I opened these. Bulletproof glass. Because look how big this viewport is. That's really going to need some kind of structural support. Like, one shot could go right through there. Which, truth be told, this isn't actually facing things that shoot at it, but it's just a thought. This one has more of a viewport. So yeah. This is the tank we made the other day. Which I don't really bother with treads sometimes. It's just kind of slider stuff. So yeah, I'm not sure how they do it in real life. Skyscrapers are really impressive. Just how tall they get them. It's crazy. Yeah, architecture really has some great minds behind it. I hope to meet some people at the Sketchup base camp that are into architecture. Okay, this has a lot of problems. Gotta do this quick. But yeah. Another thing is, I don't know if the vehicles in my game will have treads. I just don't know. That's kind of a difficult thing to do in a video game. But also because they canonically aren't really into treads. They don't have the same technology we do. So I'll just have to see. Like, for example, sorry for pulling up so many examples. Mechworks, Sphinx. Like this one right here has treads. But I don't know if it'll actually need treads. It may be too complex for treads. Like, it has them here. And it has the sprockets, which are inverted for some reason. As in, these are supposed to be pointing the other direction. If you want to actually go over obstacles. And they do that. And these ones are actually super inverted right here. Like, this one has the sprockets on the outside. Who does that? I don't even know if it's a physical mechanism. It has this little timing gear right here. And what I would imagine is it would go over some mud. It would get caught up in these treads because they go like this, kind of. a big object will be caught up right there. Or something. It'll really gunk up everything. So yeah, not very feasible. What I may end up doing is just making this as a slide. Not as a tread. This one has a lot of TLC involved to get it working. Oh yeah, I did read something about that, about anti-earthquake stuff. Nice big old pendulum down the middle of the building. Very interesting. Mechanics there. I think they mount them up on rubber as well. Or something like that to make it so it shakes. You can see some videos of some buildings and earthquakes. Pretty crazy. I still wouldn't want to be in one when that's happening though. Okay, what happens here is we need something. We need an antenna array. So yeah, architecture is very impressive. Which I'll get into that sometime, but it's gonna be like, it's just sci-fi stuff. I'm not smart enough to be an engineer, truth be told. So every time I see actual engineering, it really impresses me, because it actually has some thought involved as well as aesthetic. It was not my life to live. But yeah, I do find that very impressive. Rather focus on the morphology of things, which I really need to make some sort of dissertation or something. Almost like a, you know how you go to university and you make your own little, what do you call it? Your contribution to science. I really need to explore like how to categorize art styles and morphology. I do have a lot of theories. I don't know. But then, no scientific backing, though, that's a problem. Unfortunately. So yeah, we'll get there. We'll become smart. We're not smart yet. I mean, I'm not smart yet. Enough of the third person stuff. There we go. That's not what I want. I want this. Oh, close. Like the Burj Khalifa. Oh, that has it in it. I didn't know that. Yeah. I didn't know it had that in there. Interesting. Something like this, maybe. That's close, I suppose. What it needs is some sort of baffle right here. Really smart? Aw, thanks. I wish I was smarter, honestly. Like I said before, I have a lot of experience, but I wouldn't call that smart. Like, I just have a lot of time invested. Like, all of these things are trial by fire. I really can only say a lot of these things is because I went through the effort involved. And that's really all I really can say I have is effort. Like, I wish I were smart. Like, I wish I could, like, actually just decode how those engineers do it. Like, actual smart stuff. So yeah, and and also kind of like, I wish I had a more intelligent lifestyle as well, because a lot of the things are really based off of emotion, what I'm feeling at the time. Which may just be a discipline problem, but I just need to study more. I need to learn. I have so much to learn. Way too much. But all in due time. We'll get there. Okay, so this is... And what this is missing is a coaxial. Because this right here is just the actual loading spindle. So we need an actual coaxial. Something like this, maybe. Yeah, I wish I was smart. I mean, I need to do more research is what I need to do. Because I'm very, what do you call it? should I say, ignorant of the world. There's many things I don't know. Because I'm only in my own little bubble, kind of. I only learn the things that are relevant to me. Some of those people out there are very generalist in, like, intelligence. So I have a lot of crystallized intelligence. I don't have a lot of fluid intelligence. Ah, yes. Get smarter with experience. Indeed. And experience comes from doing. You learn by doing. So it's a very... You're fighting yourself. It's a war against entropy. It's just forcing yourself to do stuff. Hold on. This has to go like this. So really, it's just a matter of effort. Yeah. To be big brain, you must effort. You must be disciplined. You must know when to do things. Ignorant equals happy person. Yep. I'm happy. Which I think another thing that ties into that is... Another reason is... Where am I going with this? You're a lot happier whenever your bubble is not burst. Like, when someone tells you what you're doing is wrong or something. Or you could do something more efficient. Or what you're doing is just not what you're supposed to be doing. Ignorance is bliss. Which I suppose... I mean, if you say it that way, honestly, maybe I shouldn't be smart. I should just stick with what I'm doing, because if I became smart and became moody, then I can see where things would go wrong, because the things I'm making now are heavily dependent on me wanting to do them. And so in that case, ignorance is bliss. And if that means sticking to what I got, then I suppose so. You're too happy. Oh, that's not a bad thing. It's good to be happy. I guess the word I'm looking for is you shouldn't be too complacent. You shouldn't be like you resigned to be happy. Like you're just laying around and saying, I am content. Like you should be happy, but you shouldn't be content. Like you should be like striving for more. I mean, not literally, like, you should be happy with what you have as well. But you should be striving to always improve, always be moving forward, etc., etc. But yeah, do try to be happy. If something's bumming you out, like existential crisis or something, then yeah, don't ride that vibe. It's always about sticking... Don't ride the bad vibe. Find the good vibe. And stick with the good vibe. They will lead you far. Okay, what we got here is... Yes. Be smart and depressed. No! Okay, so here's my take on that. Here's my opinion. I don't know if it's real or anything. So I was trying to be smart and depressed at the same time. Which my theory is... Maybe that's not the best way to do it, because especially for stuff like this, like you're doing creative stuff, because when you're depressed, you just don't want to do anything. If you're smart, that means if you think you're smart, that usually means you've resigned, you're content with what you have. You will not really want to learn more. If you say you're smart, that means you're not willing to learn. So, yeah. That's my take on it. And it's all about effort. So if you're... Hold up. There we go. Where was I going with this? Yeah, the smart people know that they have a lot more to learn. And that's what makes them happy, because they know they have so much more to learn. There's more to life. So if you think you're smart and you're depressed, then news for you, you're probably not where you need to be. But yeah, some things will just depress you, but you can't ride that vibe. If it means putting it out of your memory, then so be it. Yeah, repress your thoughts. Some things have to be repressed. You can't know everything at once. Write it down if you have to. Knowledge is too great. Don't be smart. Don't do school. Stay in drugs, kids. Okay, well, there's more to that, but no, smart is good. Be smart. As in think. Use your brain. Yeah, I hope it inspires. I don't know the whole everything yet. I need to take a bit of my own medicine, honestly. It's a learning process. Speaking of which, what happened here? What's wrong with my... There we go. Yeah, I need to take a bit of my own medicine. I have all the answers, just the effort involved. That's why I'm really, like, talking about effort and stuff like that. It's because that's what I don't have. I need effort. And once you have that, I think you have everything, really. Whenever you have that willingness to do something. If you have that willingness to do something, it doesn't matter if you can't really do it at the time. You will find a way to do it. It's just finding that thing that's worth doing. And, like, really getting into it. Like, it must become your meaning of life. It's dependent. You need it. Ah, waiting for my cannabis license. Cool. Far out. Cannabis! Well, I haven't really got it. I have not bothered with drugs. I don't know if they're good for me. I would probably try it just to see, but I wouldn't stick with it. That's cool, though. I'm glad that they're legalizing it, because it's really dumb arresting people for it. They just don't want to, I don't know, feel pain. No one wants to feel pain. I think it's because they just want them to be productive members of society. Problem is, if you start relying on that stuff, you probably have bigger problems than the substance abuse. Okay, don't quote me on that. I bet there's a lot of people out there that's their primary problem, is the substance abuse. I don't have first-hand experience, so forgive me if I make assumptions. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I've never actually tried any of that stuff. I'm too worried I'll fry my brain. That's what I'm worried about, because my brain's already fried as it is. Video games are my drug. And if I put in more, it'd be kind of redundant. That's my opinion, anyway. Video games are one heck of a drug. Good way to lose it. That's a good way to lose a life, honestly. Let's see. Indeed. Yeah. I play way too many video games. I'm hoping the game I make is not too addictive. I don't want to add that to the world. But at the same time, I want it that has replay value. It's gonna be a lot of... I just don't know. We'll just have to see. I don't want to keep this perpetuating. I don't want to keep this going, like, make it so people are addicted to it. But then I'm not gonna do things like make it so things are time-based or stuff like that, like artificial cooldowns or anything like that, like some of those mobile games do. That's just dumb. Just have to see. But I do want it to have replay value. Like, it's fun for long periods of time. Hold up. Something's missing. I know what it needs. I'm not sure how long to keep this going. Oh, until we're finished, I suppose. That'll be a little bit more longer. How long has this stream been going, honestly? Holy moly! Almost 3 hours. Okay, we're gonna speed model this now. Time flies. Wow. That's good. I like that. Long stream. Force the brain to exercise. Game has puzzles. Interesting, yeah. I think the main problem with that is my game won't have a lot of puzzles. It'll kind of like make you want to turn your brain off a little bit, unfortunately. So it won't be like an intellectual game because it's kind of meant to be an escapism game. Easy to learn, hard to master kind of thing. So I'm going to have to figure it out how to make it not addictive. Or if it is addictive, like make it so it doesn't absorb your life or something. I do like replayability though. It's just going to have to be finding that balance. Yeah, we'll get there. All learning process. So we need to start wrapping this tank up. Let's make it presentable a little bit. I could be modeling all day if I wanted to. The stream is capped at 3 hours, half an hour though. 3 hours, 30 minutes. Okay, I don't want that. We'll have to leave it the way it is. This one will have to go like this. I think the turret's a bit big. Yeah, I can model all day if I wanted to. Put ADS. Let's see. I forgot what ADS is. Is that like hip firing? I forgot what ADS is. Automatic denial of service. Let's see, yeah. Speaking of which, I'm trying to get into the FPS, RTS kind of thing, so making it first person and third person is going to be tough. And this goes like this. Yeah, I don't want any arbitrary caps. This game is all about immersion. Very immersive. If there's a reason for something, there's a literal in-universe reason for something for happening. So yeah, no invisible walls, no arbitrary constraints. If it says you can't do something, there's a reason. It's because it's all cathartic. Information will be conveyed to the player in a specific way. It's the thing that pop up on the screen. I think that's something that pops up on the screen that tells you you're playing too long. Some mobile games do that. It's like, dude, let me do what I want to do. Like, don't force them to do something. It's all about freedom. Freedom of the will. Yeah, so very happy emphasis on freedom. If the player wants to do that kind of stuff, play for hours on end, I can't stop him. And I won't try to. But I'll try to make it so he's coerced into not doing it so much. Like Destiny kind of does that. Like it'll only give you a certain amount of rewards per day, and once that dries up, then it kind of slows down. Showing other people's products. Oh, ads! That's what you meant. Oh yeah, I was reading that as an acronym. Oh yeah, I said it was like ADS. No ads, advertisements. Oh yeah, no way. There will be no advertisements in this game. It'll be an offline game. I mean, you can play it online with your friends, but it won't be a mobile game or anything like that. No ads. No stupid stuff like that. That would be dumb. Yeah, no ads. Let's see. We want this. This. We're cutting it close. Here's nowhere they will make your hair go back again. Loot boxes. Don't. Oh my gosh. No surprise mechanics, quote unquote. Like there'll be RNG involved, like in like loot you get like from the enemies, but then it won't be loot boxes, especially not for microtransactions. Which I don't know what microtransactions it'll actually have, if any. I'm not making this for money specifically. I'm making this because I want it to exist in this world. So we'll just have to see. Power to the player, I say. I'm making this because it must exist. Loot boxes? You dare with the loot boxes? Pay to win? Oh my gosh. That's why I stopped playing World of Tanks. Well, many other reasons, but that's one of them. Gold shells, pay to win. It's just so... ugh. No thanks. No pay to win, thank you. I mean, there'll be a lot of upgrading and stuff. Like, some things are just better than others. So you can play to win. You unlock things. You give you a reason to play the game. Like, no... a lot of these things are you just paid to not play the game, like, because it's too grindy. Like, that's retarded. Like, why would you pay not to play the game you paid for? It's maniacal. Or, like, evil. Pay to lose, yeah. A lot of these people are whales, and all they have is money, and they think they can pay to win, but then they pay to lose. I see that in War Thunder a lot. They have really expensive tanks, but they just can't use them. So yeah, none of that nonsense in my game, thank you. I mean, honestly, this tank is close enough. Let's start coloring it. It doesn't have a mud flap, though. We must need to get a mud flap quick. Take money and fly to show all the players the wild G wings. Oh yes. Yeah, I mean I'm guilty. Color me guilty of buying something that is better than other stuff. In War Thunder, there's a tank called a T-127. Little low-tier Russian POS. It's seal clubbing to the max extent, and I was just using that because it's very cheap. It was like, what, $5? It feels wrong to pay to win. So I kind of avoid it. Actually, I stopped playing War Thunder because it felt wrong, killing so many people. And I was getting so much hate mail. And I was like, I don't want to be a blight upon the world. I'm just frustrating people. That's why I stopped playing. Like, I was having fun. I just was ruining everyone else's fun. I just didn't want to do that anymore. So no more War Thunder for me. I was too good. Which, okay. I wouldn't say good. I was just playing the better tank, honestly. And plus, probably the better gaming chair as well. There we go. And also probably because I'm more precise with my clicks, because I have a lot of should I say practical experience, because I do SketchUp all day, so probably more accurate with my shots. It's not fair. It's seal clubbing. Yeah, I just didn't want to be a blight upon the world, even though they give you that option. Like, I don't want my game to actually give you the option of frustrating people out of their minds. Actually, no, I lied. It will. Because it'll be in a... what do you call it? You'll only be able to land with your friends. So if you're going to be trolled, it's with your friends. So yeah, I lied. You will be able to really get on people's nerves if you want to. I won't disallow that. If players want to do that, then so be it. It's with friends. All fun with friends. Alright, we're just about ready with this tank. Yeah, I won't make it multiplayer online, like, with random people. There's just too many variables involved with that. Because you could really mess up someone's day with a giant weapon like these. Which will be funny. Well, I'll experiment with PvP, I'll just have to say. It's not really designed to be a PvP game. Just saying. At least when I get there, we'll just have to see. Yeah, winning all the time isn't... Okay, now here's the problem, though. I was doing really well. I was getting like 12 kills a match. But I kept losing. Losing is not fun. When you're doing everything. And it's a team game, and your team is like window lickers. So what are you going to do? That's not fun. Winning is only fun when it's a struggle. Like you struggled for that win. It's also not fun whenever it's just you just steamroll them. The problem with that game was you either do everything and lose, or you do nothing and win. So I just don't like team games. So yeah, not optimal. Yeah, winning's not fun whenever it's not a struggle, but losing's not fun either. Yeah, winning's not fun whenever you just walk in there and kill everybody. It just makes you feel bad. Requires replication. I don't even know what is that. Oh yeah, that's gonna be a can of worms I'll have to get into. I'll have to build the system specifically for multiplayer, as in replicate all the variables in a specific way. It's going to be quite the can of worms deciding what those variables are. The actual multiplayer system. One step at a time. We'll just have to see. Alrighty, let's color this tank. So yeah, we'll see. There's a lot of things I don't know yet. I know a lot of the specifics. No, I know a lot of the grand things, but not the specifics. Like PvP and all that. And the actual data structures that will be involved. And necessary and all that. Which I do know how multiplayer works. And what's necessary and all that thing. So I stopped playing ping pong. We top level ahead. Oh man, you were top tier ping pong player. Give the noobs a chance. Those poor noobs. Yeah, it doesn't feel right sometimes. Okay, that's temporary color. Will not be a pink tank. Honestly, what would camouflage look like on this thing? Let's try some camouflage. I don't have much on hand, honestly. We're almost there. Ew. Let's say 4,000. That's kind of disruptive, honestly. I like that color more. Yeah, too disruptive. We'll reserve that to special pieces, maybe. Hold up. Have a little palette here. Like a painter. This is kind of the same color scheme as the mech I just made. Ew. Where are my UV tools? Don't know where I left them. Hold up, hold up, hold up. Yeah, it's not. Forgot where my tool is for UV mapping. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Through paint. There we go. Only game, yeah. It was Subway Surfers. Oh yeah. I watched my little siblings were playing that. I was trying it out too. It's actually kind of fun. That and also Jetpack Joyride. Yeah, I mean, mobile games can be really fun. But then the problem is, then you start seeing them everywhere. Like, everyone starts copying them. Then suddenly the cat's out of the bag. Which, I'm afraid that's what will happen with my game, maybe. Once people figure out that the money's there. I mean, not money. Gameplay. I don't care about money. When they say the gameplay is there, there'll be a lot of copycats. Which, I don't want to count my ducks before they hatch, but something to think about. Okay, that's not a good place to put it. I don't think we'll cover it a lot, actually. Just very basic. Just so we get the gist of it. Okay, we need more detail right here. I played, what do you call it, Farmville for a while. But for a while, I mean like a few months, because I knew it was like predatory, wanted you to stick with it. I said, okay, I'm making a goal. I'm going to get the Alpine cabin with a grape farm, and I'll be done. And that was that. I wish more games were like that, where I could just have a goal and get it. Because no, they keep moving the goalposts. I mean, that's a good idea for my game. Make it so there's only a specific goal you can go for. Or rather, the only goal you actually want to go for. There'll be plenty of goals to go for. It's the only one that didn't get copied for Android. I guess so. I mean, there's a lot of... No, you should see some of the rip-offs. Like, there's some, like, almost mobile game quality things for GTA, and it's terrible. It's lovely, though. They're delicious how terrible they are. Get copied for Android. I wonder, yeah, does Android have different store compared to Google? I forgot. I'm pretty sure if you look hard enough, you'll find a GTA clone somewhere. Because that's dumb to death. Even if it's just like a little mobile trash shovelware kind of thing. Shovelware is everywhere. Everywhere you look, you'll find shovelware. Okay, enough. This tank is so close. I mean, I could go all day just adding details. You have to cut it somewhere. Let me see where we're at with the stream. How much time I have left. Oh, never mind. I guess we're not capped. So I guess I'm in no hurry. All the GTO clears were a mess. Yep. I bet they're still making them somewhere. Somehow, there's some guy making a GTA clone. Oh, have you seen this new Saints Row? Speaking of GTA clones, which I wouldn't call it that, but people are really up in arms about Saints Row. They're saying that's not great. It's a bastardization of what they really liked about the first Saint Row. Unfortunate. Companies just really need to get it together. Which I hope I can really fill that gap. But yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing an actual good game once in a while. Wouldn't that be great? Okay, this paint scheme isn't doing it for me. It's cute. It's kind of messy, honestly. Let's see. Darker might be better. The only goal for them was to kill NPC and get cars. Oh yeah. Grab that Auto 5. Some weird knockoff somewhere. Indeed. The knockoffs know no bounds. That was good, actually. If there's something popular, there will be a knockoff of it. I am predicting that. Okay, this goes like this. Not to sound high and mighty. Don't want to count my chickens before they hatch. I really need to not, you know, focus on, what do you call it, the little intricacies of having a game. I have to make the game first, then I'll decide. Then I'll actually know what I'm dealing with. Lawyers. I'm going to probably need a lot of lawyers. Just don't know. We'll get there. We'll burn that bridge when we get to it. Making a good game for Android isn't worth it, because at the end we'll prefer the colorfulness saw on an ad. Yep. That's the sad thing. A lot of times it's not how good a game is, it's how attractive it is. I was talking about this earlier. That's a lesson that I learned from doing contests. People don't judge you on the complexity or how well it's made. They judge you on what it looks like. With truth be told, that's why I'm focusing a lot on graphics. Graphics are what sell a game. One of my keys is happy to not try to read into the future. Expect nothing. Enjoy, gently surprise. Yep. Indeed. That's a good way to look at it. Don't try and predict everything. Or else you'll just feel bad about yourself. Like, the last 2 months, I was feeling so bad about myself because I'm supposed to be doing this professionally right up at this point, and I was feeling really rushed. I wanted to rush. I really wanted to get out there and do a bunch of stuff. But then I was feeling really anxious from it. Which really, I really just need to slow down and really just figure out why I'm doing this in the first place. And lean into that. And just roll with it. It's all a learning experience. Because everything I've made so far has been that way. I have not pre-planned these things. I don't pre-plan a lot of things. But it's good to have goals, to know what you're going for. That's why I don't make promises, but I am confident that the things that I am going for are going to work. So yeah. It is good not to plan ahead sometimes. Like, I didn't plan this tank ahead. Just roll with it. Tanks are always just fun to make. Like, there's a guy that I watch that paints tanks. One of his favorite things. Tanks just really have a lot of morphology going for them. Because I get too anxious about the things and I thought wouldn't happen, didn't. That is true. Yeah, I'm struggling with that. I have been struggling with that. I don't know if I am now. Just that impending doom. Like, you think something's going to happen, but then it doesn't actually happen. And you're always checking social media thinking if people like me and stuff like that. And then or you think you're going to go to a meeting or something, or someone's going to tell you something that you need to do. Or you just don't want to really make yourself available for certain things. Yeah, it's just that sense of impending doom. That's called the existential dread. You need to not do that. That also ties in just to being intelligent. Sometimes you just have to forcefully forget some things. I prefer GTA San. Yeah, that too. Yeah, that's right. Because I was thinking about it. What kind of graphics do I want for my game? Like, photorealistic? So I was thinking, like, if I wanted that, I would be using Blender. But no, I'm using SketchUp. I'm going to lean into that edgy, angular style. I'm not going to have a lot of beveled edges. Like, someone told me to make realism, you have to make beveled edges. That's not beveled. And we're not going to do that so much, really. Suffer from paralysis, and seeing you make instant remodeling is so refreshing. Oh yeah, that's my secret, actually. That is my secret. That is my strength. That is my skill. That's something that I wish to teach to others. Because the things I make are just not pre-planned. Like, you just make them. And that's my superpower, I suppose, that I hope other people can learn from. Because you just don't plan things ahead, and you make them much faster and higher fidelity than you can imagine. Literally. You cannot imagine these things. I literally do not see this when I make it. It just happens. And that plays into its strength, because you don't have to be smart. You don't have to be intelligent. I lament not being intelligent, but you don't have to be intelligent. You just do. And that's the wonderful thing about it. The wonderful thing about Tiggers are wonderful things. So yeah. Hold up. This is too bright over here. But then, yeah, that was the thing I was talking about before is effort. It's just effort. So much effort. Once you unlock that effort, that willingness to do a lot of things is when you truly will become who you're meant to be. You don't have to be smart. You just have to be willing to get up and do something. And if that means having a huge goal, then so be it. Find what makes you tick. Even if it's small things, maybe it's big things. For me, it's big things because I'm very challenge oriented. I want to challenge. It's the thrill of the kill, the thrill of the hunt. He doesn't want to be fed, he wants to hunt. So yeah, that's my take on it anyway. Yeah, very powerful indeed. I do hope. I just wish there was some sort of scientific backing to it. That's what I'm trying to look for. I don't know if there is though. How to quantify it in a way that's more palatable. Rather than like, where I can cut to the meat of it. Like I can say exactly what it means. Where this is coming from a psychological level. I took a psychology class, but I don't know. I just don't know. That's all, because once again, I make things procedurally. It's just trial of the fire. I don't know how to quantify these things. It's kind of like art. You just don't know. But there has to be a reason, because this is procedural. I'm trying to find those connections. Because there may be an art style, but there is a procedure behind it. And there is a secret to it. So there must be a secret to unlocking that potential of yourself. Which I'm sure there's so many self-help books out there for it. I'm missing something somewhere. Just not intelligent enough to figure it out. But yeah, we'll get there. So whenever I get to that point where I'm actually intelligent enough to figure out where this is all coming from, it'll be because I've actually went through the entire thing in its entirety. I've made every mistake, which is impossible. So there'll always be some sort of thing you don't know. There'll always be something you don't know. At least enough that I can actually give it to people so they can learn from it. Which I'm close to that point. Or at least closer to that point than I was. Learning and growing is all that matters. 3D seems like speed modeling. Yeah. I was trying to figure out what actually counts as speed modeling, like. Because I see a lot of people use that term as like, okay, speed modeling. What is speed modeling? Is it just modeling fast? Is it modeling without concept art? I don't know. I don't know what it means. Honestly. I wonder if there's like an actual, real, like, terminology reason. Like, what counts as speed modeling? Modeling fast? I mean, a lot of people model fast because they're good at modeling fast. Which I must say that modeling fast does not always mean you're better at it. Just means you're more rehearsed is all. Like a lot of people out there make better models just because they're straight up better, so. We'll get there though. I mean, actually I'm not sure if I will. Because the game takes precedence. I'm not out to be the best modeler in the world. I can learn a lot about modeling. It's just I don't actually go for it because I have so much more other things I have to do, like the game and stuff. It's about picking your battles. You are a sum of your parts. What you decide to go for is who you become. And becoming the best modeler in the world is not what I decided to become. So, unfortunate, but I don't think I'll be the best in the world at anything. Because the thing about making a game is it's very multidisciplinary, so I have to be a jack of all trades, kind of. That's just the path I took. Ah, if you didn't better, I wouldn't say you recorded video and modeling sped it up by 2 times. Ah, yeah, I was thinking about that, like, how would it compare? Because a lot of times I'll be watching SketchUp modeling sessions and it's like really dragging. I really like listening to them, but then it's really, yeah, there's not a whole lot going on the screen. But yeah, the screen. But yeah, whenever you're making things without any plans and you're not trying to be very specific with everything, it's just, it goes a lot faster and it really unlocks potential. So I am a, what do you call it, a supporter of speed modeling things without concept art. There's a lot of potential in it. And that's, yeah, that's my art style basically. I hope people learn how to do that. Like, I don't know, because the things, all the keystrokes I do, I really can't, I don't quantify them. See, that's all I get my, and there's no still crazy thing on top of it, just leaving a piece of, ah, thanks. Yeah, I mean, I have a lot to say, it's just sometimes it's hard to unlock it. This is one of the reasons I started streaming, so I thank you actually for keeping it going. So yeah, and that's another reason why I started modeling in SketchUp. That's why I use SketchUp, is because I want instant gratification. Back in the day when I first started modeling, it's because I wasn't modeling because I was making like studio work or anything. Like, I just want the thing immediately. And SketchUp is perfect for that because you can just straight up go in and just make stuff. And that's why I'm kind of hooked on it. Why I can't break away from it. Instant gratification is one heck of a drug. Looking at you, video games. Concentrate. Barely chew gum and jump. Ah, well, here's the cool thing about it is it's just experience, because like I can model things without thinking. You don't have to think at all when you're making these kind of things. And that's the beauty of it, because you can do it for hours and hours and hours and hours and you don't have to think. And that comes from experience. So that's the sad thing about it. Like, people will be like, what's your secret? And it's like, well, effort. But yeah, but it's really good though. It really unlocks a lot of potential because you can just make things without thinking. And you can make really complex things without thinking. And you don't have to be disciplined for it either. A lot of times you can just start making things. And once you get making things, once you're in it to win it. Like whenever I was making those things for the, what do you call it? For the contests and stuff. Like where I would make the speed models. Like the one I'm proud of right now is, like this one right here. This took 2 days to make. That was painful. That was actually painful. I couldn't model for a few weeks after that. I don't recommend it. So here's another important lesson. If you plan on doing these kind of models, is have a pace that's sustainable. Because if you really kill yourself trying to make something complex in a very fast way, then you won't have the physical, you'll be burnt out. So find your pace. SketchUp is like his domain. Indeed, yeah, SketchUp is, it really, yeah, that's what I was talking about before with making your art style fit its medium. As in, like, I grew up with SketchUp, so, I mean, literally grew up using SketchUp, so it really became that's how I focused my art style. I'm trying to quantify that scientifically though, like, so people can actually learn how to do that for the other software. Oh yeah, thanks, yeah. This is a mix between a Star Killer base and a Star Destroyer, so took different pieces of it and stuff. Or I mean, not pieces, like ideas. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of unpolished and whatever, but for 2 days it's really pretty good. I just don't recommend it. Like, if you're gonna make something, really know your limits. And yeah, this one I just made the basic block out, and then I actually went crazy with the details. It really helps to have a reference, because once you have a reference, that's your seed. Same with artificial intelligence, how it generates images based off of a, what do you call it? A single word or a sentence or just mixing words. That's where creativity comes from. All you need is a word or a picture, and everything else can fill in the gaps whenever you have this procedural workflow. Like with the what do you call it? The walking castle. Everything I make, you just fill in the gaps, and that's all you have to do. So there is a lot of potential in it. I just have to learn how to say it, do it so people can learn from it for other software. Because it's software agnostic, it's not just SketchUp. That's kind of selfish gag. Like all of this stuff right here was made in a single month. And there's all based on one single word. Like this is darkness. This is future. This is wall. This is signal. This is thing. This is danger. This is old. This is power. And this is tower. And that's it. That's the seeds. Those are the seeds to the proceduralism. And you can make some cool stuff once you learn the software. Like this is the actual render from Substance Painter. Once you find what's good, you can be software agnostic. And that's the workflow behind it. Etc, etc, etc. It'll get there. That's the theory anyway. Yeah. So, let me see if I can find anything that's in... Like here's a screenshot of this tower whenever it was first being made. Kind of basic blockouts, kind of. Like you can see, or it's just kind of the big shapes before the little shapes. And okay, here's what I learned from what I've been doing. Here's what I learned. Do that. Big shape, then little shape. Do not start with the little shapes. Here's what you'll end up with if you start with the little shapes. It just doesn't work. Da, 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 da. And there's a reason why I call this the beast, because it's just a learning experience for me. And I hate it. I love it and I hate it. Filling in the gaps is the key concept of making design decision. Indeed, yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to apply that in a way that can be used. Because the same paradigms are used in artificial intelligence for making pictures. Like, for example, let me see if I can find it. Like this image right here. This is from Midjourney, which I'm pretty sure you've seen Midjourney. All I had to do was type in a deer made out of lightning. And then the AI spit this out from, what do you call it? Stable diffusion. It just takes random noise and then it resolves it. And that's, like, this is the future of technology. That's why I'm trying to be at the forefront of it. Like, I know what's going to happen. SketchUp modeling, everything will become obsolete. Like 50 years from now, maybe like 100 years from now. I don't know. It could be sooner, it could be later. Modeling will not be what it's meant to be. I mean, what it is right now. Like, but only for these type of models. Like, I'm going to say it straight up for, like, characters and stuff like that, things you do in Blender. And, like, architecture and stuff like that. You're safe. If you make architecture, you're safe. But if you make procedural details like this, you're not safe. Because artificial intelligence will take over. So that's why I'm trying to be ahead of the curve. I'm trying to scientifically quantify how to be procedural at a personifiable level, like what you can do physically as a human. Because that's our limitation. Because we have the technology, we have the math, we have all the algorithms. We just don't have the paradigms for actually knowing what we want to make. And that's what I figured out. Is a lot of problems is you don't know what you want to make. You can make a lot of things, you just don't know what you want to make. And that's where proceduralism really comes in. It offloads it. You don't have to know what you want to make. You just make it. And that's the beauty of it. And the reason I opened this is because don't start with the small stuff. Because these mechanics right here don't really work very well. Like, this pivot right here is not very well optimized. It's not good. And the problem is, this took ages to make because I had to make it, remake it 4 or 5 times over because something wouldn't work, something wouldn't align somewhere, so I had to redo a lot of things. I just moved things around. And just not very optimal because I just didn't know what I wanted. Because I just started here. At first, it was just meant to be this, like just a single vehicle. And I was like, okay, if I copy paste this, it looks like a foot. Now we have this. Now we have this. Now we have this. Now it's an entire gigantic vehicle. And it just grew to that whole thing. So yeah, don't do that. Don't start with the small stuff. Start with the big stuff. Like, that's what I did for, what do you call it? This one. I started large. Like, I started with the broad strokes. Like I wanted something that moves in a certain way. I imagined the movement. That's all I imagined. Just the movement. That's it. And to achieve that movement, then you make the machine. And usually it's just something small like this or something. And you just make the mechanics. And then you add the details. And it's fine to add the details in one particular object. Like I had it like this object in its whole before I started making these other objects. So it doesn't matter the order of operations. You don't have to make every large object and then the small object. You can make a large object and then make the small objects inside that large object. It's very modular. Stay modular, and that's why I made all these modules. There's a lot of interconnections with a lot of these things, with proceduralism and modules and all these different things. And I'm hoping that'll manifest itself in the game, because the game itself is being formed around these ideas. And that's why I think it'll be very, that's why I'm confident it'll work, because it's based off of what I've learned works. So there is a lot of potential in these paradigms. I need to find a new word that's an overused word. They're starting to leave the theory zone and starting to become more of a science, but I just don't know where the science is yet, because I'm not smart enough for it. Or rather, not experienced enough. Once I get the prototype going is when things will really start ramping up. Let's see, where were we? I think that's my 2 cents anyway. The game industry focused more on AI instead of graphics. Indeed, yeah. That's what I'm trying to, that's what I want to fix, because the AI will be very branching, like very reactive. What you do to the AI will be very believable. I'll be focusing a lot on that, which I have to balance things, because I can't focus on everything. It's either graphics or this or that. I have to give up some things. But AI is not something I want to really cut corners on. So the AI will be good. Alrighty, let's see where we're at this. Honestly, I think that's good enough. Colors are really not on point, but it's close. You just have to make it a little bit more presentable. And the thing is, yeah, whenever you're doing stuff, it's not a matter of deciding as in knowing it's done. It's about just deciding it's done, because you'll never be done. The thing about proceduralism is fractal. You know how fractals are, because the thing is, you can take this detail and multiply this detail and just copy it even smaller and smaller and smaller until this whole thing is just one massive wad of detail. Because that's what happens if you don't have constraints. It becomes just a massive wad of detail. And that's not good for aesthetics, so... or anything in general, like, for example, working on it. Where'd my materials go? Hold on. So yeah, a lot of different things filter into a lot of different things. It's very interesting, honestly. What I want to do is connect all those, what do you call them? All of these concepts. I want to connect them together in a cohesive way. Because I haven't seen that yet. I haven't really seen anyone really write a paper on that. How all of these things are connected. But I have to put it in practice first. So we'll get there. Because there is an underlying procedure to it. I don't make this random. This isn't just random. If it were random, it would be noise. And I've made noise before. This is not noise. It's meant to represent something. So I use random very spare. I use it too much. It's not random. It's just a different way of doing things. A lot of people will call it random because they're so used to planning it out and then modeling it. So yeah, it's just figuring out how to make it palatable to all those people out there that really aren't really receptive to theoreticals like this. How can I prove these are all connected? Through experiment. Empirical evidence. That's a good idea. I like that idea. Yeah, I could keep going on this all day. I'm always going to be finding some little random thing. I had to cut it somewhere. Which is pretty soon, honestly. It's been 4 hours or something. Alrighty, well, we got our tank of some kind. Will this look better without camo? Kinda. But yeah, a lot of theoreticals. We'll get there. Whenever the game starts happening, that'll be really fun. I'll actually make something that's play testable and actually get feedback on what works and what doesn't. That'll be when things really start, the sparks start flying. Actual feedback on what I should do. Because I'm not receiving... There's really not much to say with a lot of these things because all theoreticals. Like, people can tell me all day that I need to start modeling properly, but I'm like, I don't want to. So, yeah. Okay, that's not a viewport, that is a glass. This goes here. Alrighty. Well, we got our thingamabob. Kind of a tank. I'm not sure what kind of tank it is. Hold up, hold up. This goes like this. Oops. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we'll just have to see. Alrighty. Close enough. I think that's about finished. Not bad, not terrible, not great. Modeling for fun is... Yeah, that is true. Indeed. We're making a game as well. Yep. Yeah, I hope to... Okay, so whenever that starts happening, I'll be posting devlogs. Like, I'll actually explain what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, etc. Because I believe knowledge really helps other people. Because I'm not doing this specifically just as a way to make money. Which I need to start thinking about that, but no, this is a passion project and I really want to share knowledge to the world that can help others. So I'll try to make as much devlogs as possible. So yeah, I mean, as they come, because it's really... A lot of it is very theoretical stuff and I don't know how to... I just don't know how to explain a lot of things yet. But as they come, we'll see. So yeah, looking forward to that as soon as I know what's going on in terms of the game anyway. And it actually has something on screen that's moving, something I can play. That'll be a really good booster, like knowing you have something that works. That'd be great. Alrighty, so there's our tank. Let's add this to all the other tanks. Tanks are just fun to make. So let's see, downloads, documents. Which the beast is going to be a tank as well. I have to make the gun for it. The king of all tanks. Here we go. Here's our little tank buddies. There we go. How do you make more games? Yep, indeed. I really do have to learn how to monetize things. It's not going to be easy. I am doing commissions, which I haven't advertised a whole lot. Just some random people here and there will ask for commissions. I'll be like, yep. Here's some commissions I have done in the last few days. Like, I made this. I don't really make architecture normally, but someone needed this, so I made it for them. They gave me an HDRI image, and they're like, make this 3D. And I was like, okay. Which is really hard to figure out angles like this from a single image, but we figured it out. Like, the image was just like you standing here. And I had to make it 3D. But I think I did pretty close to what it was. It's very difficult to make something like that, but did it. And what else? I made a something 3D printable for someone. Wait, where'd it go? Let's see. I don't know if I have it on. Here we go. Yeah, money. Yeah, I need to learn how. Since I'm going to be doing this as a profession. I just don't want to be greedy is all. I just want to add something to the world. Let's see. Yeah, be honest, indeed. So here's something I made. So he wanted a, what do you call it? He needed something for his 3D printing. a visor for his cyberpunk costume or something. So I made a bunch of concepts of cyberpunk visors. Different types of things, just different things, a way of doing it. We settled for this one, which I honestly, if I'm gonna be honest, how is he gonna see out of that? Like, he said he wanted the visor to be like this, and only like this. You're gonna have to be looking like down out of it. That's gonna be very difficult with 3D printing. And here's it in actual size. How you can create your own game studio. Yeah, that's the idea. That's what I want to do. So here's what I'm hinging on. Whenever I make the prototype of the game, I'm going to make it so it's palatable to a large audience in such a way that people really like playing it. And I'm going to do a Kickstarter, maybe. And I think that'll be probably the best option, at least from what I can see right now. Because then people will really have something they can sink their teeth into and actually know it's actually going to be something they should invest into. That's what I think. I don't know. We'll see. Indeed, yeah. Oh, thank you. And yeah, so Kickstarter, I don't know, something like that, crowdfunding. And yeah, be honest about it as well. Honesty goes a far way, far distance, a long way. And I was thinking about a publisher, but there's no, not a publisher, because this is deeply personal. This game is everything to me, so I cannot compromise any artistic vision on it. So yeah, I have to make it feasible. I have to think about the big things. That's why I'm here in college, to become more attuned to talking to people, learning how to interact with others, and working in a team. Because this is going to be a team project, especially for sound design. Definitely, definitely. We'll get there, though. Yeah, Kickstarter. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I'm going to have to be very careful with it, though. Very careful. There's a lot of things that could go wrong with it. But yeah, I think it will be pretty successful. I mean, I've seen some of the things that get funded on Kickstarter. Like, dude, if that gets funded, then this is a shoo-in. But I've said that for some other things, and they ended up not being the case, so. I won't count my ducks before they hatch, but I do believe that this will really hit a spot. People really like this, I think. Hold up. Yeah, don't count your eggs before they hatch. Okay, yeah, don't count your chickens before they hatch. You can count your eggs if you want to. Da-da-da-da. Which we're counting eggs right now. Yep, crowdfunding better than publisher. Yeah, I agree. Depends on the publisher, I suppose. I just don't know yet. Like, these are all... I'll burn that bridge when I get there. Like, I'll make the game first, and then I'll decide on what to do with it. But yeah, crowdfunding seems to be the better option. Marketing is key, indeed. And that's the cool thing about having graphics like this, is it'll have a lot of marketing material. Let me see if I can pick one up real quick. Da-da-da-da. I don't know if I have any renders of my dinosaur on hand. Ah. No renders of the dinosaur. Well, I mean stuff like this, like flashy things like this will really get people's attention, like mechs, energy swords, and explosions, and giant machines, and robots and stuff. So yeah, it'll have a lot going for it whenever I start marketing it, so I'm pretty sure it'll be a kind of a shoe-in almost. Like people really like this stuff. They want this stuff. And I aim to please. We'll just have to see though. There are a lot of things we gotta do. So, indeed. But yeah, there's our tank. I consider that done. That was the longest stream I've ever done, honestly. But I don't regret it. Which I'll probably stream more often. There's many more things that must be made. Give me a reason to make stuff. So I'm seeing some modeling thing here. This is from the Sphinx right here. And this turret baffle right here is from the shock tank. There's a lot of different pieces I see from other tanks on here. And by shock tank, I mean like my other tank I made. For example, real quick before I call this. Before I call it quits. Like right here. Indeed, I sure hope so too. Well, I mean, I think it will be. I just have to really stick with it. It's all about effort. As I said, it's always about effort. About your game is a good idea. Short and sweet. Indeed, yeah, it's always about the movement. It's the animation behind it. Not just the model. Like I was saying before, this one looks very similar to this one. Like this will be part of the game right here, this one as well. You can see a lot of similarities. Interesting. I mean, they are from the same universe. We'll just chalk it up to that. That's our excuse, quote unquote. Because the thing is, what you have in your mind is what you get. Like, subconscious. Like, that's why a lot of these models end up looking very similar to each other, because it's all subconscious. Because you're not thinking about it. So whatever you have in your mind is what you get. And that's a cool thing about it, is because the art style will be consistent. So everything you make will have from the same universe, kind of. But the problem is, it's all about effort. Like, some have more effort in it. Like, this one has a lot more effort in it, so it has higher fidelity. This one has a lower fidelity. And having that discrepancy is going to be difficult to explain in universe. I'm trying to explain it, but yeah, I think it's about tech tiers, like lower tech, higher tech. But here's the funny thing about it is, these are actually less performant than these ones. These are better options, because these ones are more clunky. And I think the in-universe description for that is because they didn't perfect the replicator tech yet, and it just creates these amalgamations of different mechanics and stuff. In the third eye, indeed. Robot girls! Woo! Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I don't know about that, but yeah. I'll check out I have to figure out what the target audience is first. I have some good ideas, though. But it's all playing by ear. Oh, yeah. The reason I opened this up is because it reminded me of this. It's the same kind of turret right here. This is what it reminded me of. That's why I opened it. Oops. Scale like so. Please scale for me. There. Yeah, very similar. From the same universe. You can see a lot of the same kind of details almost. This one also loads from the back, kind of. The shell comes out of here. And it's loaded with this arm right here. Very exposed mechanism, but that's how they build stuff. This one's the same idea, except instead of a single shell, it's a rotary cell. So this one's actually superior because this has a higher rate of fire. So that's the interesting thing. Actually, that plays directly into the art style, because the more advanced things are like smooth, kind of. I don't know if I have any examples on hand. That's the interesting thing behind it. Hold up, hold up, hold up. Nope, I don't have any examples on hand, unfortunately. Like, the higher tier stuff will be very smooth kind of morphology. Anyway, I guess that's all for now. I could go on and on and on, but I'll save that for another stream. I shall officially call it where it is very soon, so as I open it back up. I'll explain more of this when it starts getting into the more nitty-gritty. Make customizable character and Eva. Ah, that is true. Your robot has the work cut out for him. Oh yeah, so that's the cool thing, actually. The top tier robots will look kind of like Eva from, what do you call it? From WALL-E. Like, it'll be very futuristic like that. That's not top tier stuff. So you'll be able to customize your character to be very smooth like that. That'll be top tier. And yeah, with the mechanics, so Yeah, a brief explanation on the mechanics is they have replicator tech where they can just grow parts out in the field so that they can run up. In the game, you'll be able to repair your vehicle very fast. Like, the mechanics don't actually need to really mess with this stuff so much. Luckily, because I can imagine just how easily a lot of this stuff would break and how you're going to fix it. But yeah, that'll be explained in universe. But yeah. Done. We have our tank. We have our stuff. GG. And yeah, there we go. Tank. Let's see if we can make a X-ray render. There's a lot of different styles you can mess with. Ooh. That's fun. Yeah. Extension. Well, anyway, that's that. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something. Thank you for being around. I may be here next Friday, or next week at least. We'll see. And enjoy the rest of your day. And see y'all later.